Tell me a sound that's better than this.
I think so. Yep. Well, gotta pop myself up. I was on Crucible not too long ago, and I get in hot. Merry Christmas. God joy. Have a good Festivus for the rest of us. Welcome to the very first time I've ever done the Christmas Eve show. See, isn't this a much better sound than that? I think so. The wolves are circling, my friends. There we go, there we go, there we go. Yeah, sorry, I didn't hit echo cancellation right now. That's what I get for being late. Y'all ready for this? Yeah, of course you are. Oh my goodness.
What's your body count?
I don't have an exact number. I have an idea.
Range is fine.
Probably somewhere between 50 to 60.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
What it is, my number one thing. Somebody asked, do you guys know why you're single? And I'll speak for myself. I know exactly why I'm single, because I've never dated a guy that God would have approved for me. Not to say, let me clarify and say that I've actually only dated great men. I have a great picker. I've only dated really wonderful guys, good people to their core, obviously not perfect and clearly not from me, because we would be together if that was the case, but like good people, but never somebody who's further along in their faith than I am.
Yeah.
And I know without a shadow of a doubt that the person God has for me is like so far along in their faith than I am. And I have such a desire, like a yearning to be led spiritually. I just want to sit and look up at a man talking to me about theology. And I'll be so happy. You know what I mean? And so there's always been, unfortunately, not in like an insulting way, but there's a level of respect that I'll have for the person that I'm with when that's the case. And I've never experienced that.
Bye, Felicia.
Be yourself, not because it will make you more likable, it won't, but because it's only by being yourself that you'll find people who like you for who you really are rather than someone you're pretending to be. That's from Gwynder Bogle. And this was one of the biggest realizations of my 20s. The advantage of doing this thing where you sort of push off who you really are is that no criticism will ever fully land because you're 1 degree removed from the person who's being criticized. The disadvantage is that you're also removed from the person who's being complimented. And if you're only playing a role, you never fully feel connected to the successes that you have in your life. Any accolades or warmth that you receive won't resonate properly in your heart because it's not you who's receiving it. It's the character that you're pretending to be.
Wrong.
I did my first Snapchat, and within the first week of creating it, I made like 10K off of just my titties.
Insane.
Yeah, and I had no idea that like this is money I could make. At this time, I've never had like a job that made me that much money. I got really excited.
A lot of the world doesn't have a job that makes them 10,000 in a week.
Yeah, and just like this.
Just instant.
Like, yeah, instant. Like here, like just deposit. It was insane.
Well, I'm a whore.
Sophisticated women, they've had a lot of good relationships with men, brothers and fathers in particular. Sophisticated women signal to men who are getting a little pushy, in no uncertain terms, very early in the pushing game, that no is the answer. But unsophisticated women, they can't do that at all. They don't know how. And then what happens is they run into an unsophisticated guy. He's too dumb to pick up any clues. And then by the time she really wants to say no, she's already on the bed.
We're never gonna score. We're never gonna score.
Thing in your life you still can't believe happened.
The airplane crash.
Say more. You were in a crash?
No, I fell in love with a man and couldn't have him because I was married. 3 years later, I got a telephone call. This is Cabin Airlines. Your husband just died in a crash. And so I was able to marry my beloved 3 months later.
Oh my goodness.
She's not a Christian!
Partner. I don't have to make him a list. I have an equal partner. I don't have to ask him to help with things around the house. I have an equal partner. He knows how to shop at the grocery store without pictures. I have an equal partner. He doesn't expect me to handle everything alone.
Kowalski.
I have an equal partner. He plans date nights without me having to beg for it. I have an equal partner. He does his own laundry. I have an equal partner. He makes his own appointments. I have an equal partner. My stocking has never been empty. I have an equal partner. He makes the kids' lunches in the morning. I have an equal partner. He makes and takes their son to his therapy appointments. I have an equal partner. He doesn't believe that just because he goes to work, he shouldn't have to do anything when he gets home. I have an equal partner. He takes genuine interest in me and my interests.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
He knows how to fold towels. I have an equal partner. He takes our kids to bed and knows their teachers' names. I have an equal partner. He doesn't make me feel bad if I'm not in the mood. I have an equal partner. He values and appreciates what I do and tells me that often. I have an equal partner. He does basic adult tasks without being asked.
Guilty, 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 guilty!
Thing that you can do is waste your time or waste somebody else's time in a relationship, especially a woman whose biological clock is ticking. And you shouldn't be wasting your time or energy on a person who can't make up their mind about you. It is a disservice to both parties. Somebody has to make a decision and move on. And when somebody tells you who they are and shows you who they are, you should believe them, especially when it comes to dating and marriage. And yes, sometimes people can change. That does happen, but you should not go into a relationship or stay in one based on the assumption that you believe that they will change or that you can change them. There is no reason to waste your precious time on somebody who wants things that are fundamentally different than you or has fundamentally different values than you.
He chose poorly.
Cheat more than men?
Far more.
Come on.
Far more.
Come on. Why do you think women cheat more than men?
Because they're in denial about the infidelity. When they cheat, they don't even label it as that. If a woman starts cheating...
What do they label it as?
They label it as my husband's no longer satisfying me. They won't even say I'm cheating. They'll say my husband isn't satisfied. They find a way to redirect and shift the terminology so that they are void of guilt.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
How do we know women are cheating more than men? What is it like? Is this public knowledge? Is it surveys? Or are you just hearing this from the people you're coaching?
The people I'm coaching, because firstly, you'll know, it's simple signs that you'll know. Firstly, when the guy, I always say infidelity is a result of men not being masculine and women not being feminine. And what I mean by this is if a woman is cheating, it's because she has a man that accepts unacceptable because he is unwilling to walk away when his boundaries are broken. So what will happen is when women meet that man, with a good woman with good morals, and this, she doesn't want that man. She's like, I don't want to weaken.
She'll leave.
She'll leave. She'll replace him with somebody who has boundaries that suit her morals. But a woman
she won't cheat because she'll have the values of like, this isn't working, it's sad.
No, I don't want
but
somebody
I'm not going to cheat while I'm with you.
No desire to cheat. She's not a sexual being. Yeah, and so she's looking for somebody who can lead a household. But the woman who's planning to come home late all the time and planning to go on a bunch of holidays and planning to keep in touch with her ex and planning to post a bunch of provocative pictures online, he's perfect.
Well, I'm a whore.
Felt the feminism leaving my body. I live on the east side of LA, and if you don't know what that means, it's sort of like the artsier part of LA, you know? It's people say it's like Brooklyn and New York. Like, so I go on dates with a lot of men and women who, you know, live over here. There's always a negotiation about who pays, and that's great. I like to pay for people, all that. But what I will say is that I sort of fell into going on a date with the most guy's guy I've ever been on a date with. And he's from West, you know, Santa Monica. He's a bro, right? A guy's guy is usually not my type. Like, I cannot remember the last time that I went on a date with like a straight bro, you know what I'm saying? But it befell me. It befell me in an organic fashion. So I'm on this date with this guy, and the thing about a guy's guy is he's putting his card down. He's paying for everything. And I really it sort of activated something feral in me, I'm not gonna lie. We went to like another bar, and he was gonna go to the bathroom, so I was getting prepared to pay for our drinks because he's been paying all night. Of course I'm gonna pay for the next round, but as he's going to leave for the bathroom, he turns to me and he hands me his credit card, and he goes, "Here's my card, get us whatever." It might be time for me to get away from all these, you know, liberal snowflakes on the east side.
Wait, there you go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Sorry I was a bit late. I was informed that my Devil Mountain Coffee K-Cups had arrived, so I had to go get some because this show runs on. You ever want to know what my nutrition program is? It's caffeine and stress. That's how I keep my slender, svelte figure. Oh boy, we have a lot to do today, guys. We like look. I even hang up the Christmas guitars. I guess kind of red and white. Yeah. I've never done a Christmas Eve show. This is Christmas Eve. Holy mackerel. I hope you guys are. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for showing up. I didn't know if anybody was going to show up, but you actually got a pretty good crowd today. Good. I'm glad. Ned Report. Would you like the Ned Report? I'll give you the Ned Report. Ned's doing fine. We took him to, well, he has to go get 2 bandage changes per week. Now we're down to 1. So we're not going in until I think Wednesday or Thursday of next week. So we're good. We usually go Mondays and Thursdays, but of course tomorrow's Christmas, but we're good. The wound is the only thing that the next major hurdle anyways is just healing up the wound because he still has an open wound, and you can see tendons and well, one little bit of a tendon. It's like a very small patch. I would show you a picture, but that's what you would say. So but he's still doing well. It is still clean. The wound is still clean, so it's not necrotic or anything like that, and we've only had to have it debrided once. So we're good to go. He's doing well. In fact, I had family over yesterday because we can't really do it tomorrow because we have the dogs here. But long and the short of it is he's feeling much better. In fact, this is the dangerous part. This is the very dangerous part because he feels like he can do more than he wants to or more than he can. So we have to stay on top of him and like, it was like, oh, don't run, because he really wants to, especially when my other dog, Anna, my female, I should show you a pic. I don't talk enough about Anna, but she runs. She's a very fast dog. She ran 223 races. So, and one of these days I'll post her record and you guys will be suitably impressed. But what that means is she races around Ned in the backyard and I'm like, okay, just don't run. That's all we're asking. So he's doing better. Very good. Thank you. Oh, and then thank you for the support and thank you for the donations and thank you for the goodwill. And then thank you for helping out. Much appreciated. I am probably about, at this point, about 16 grand into medical bills for Ned. And people go, man, you Americans are like crazy about your dogs. And well, Ned's my best friend, first of all. And then second of all, that's just more money I'm laying on for damages when I sue this bitch that whose dog actually attacked Ned. So we already have a personal injury attorney that's on the case. They're going after their homeowner's insurance. So I'm like, whenever I see like a vet bill, I'm like, do you want to add more on there? Is there anything else we can add to this bill? He deserves the best treatment we could possibly give him. So, because I'm just going to add it to the damages. So. Yeah. Well, Ned is special. He's probably going to, I've been sort of mulling this around, and I think probably Ned and Anna will be the last greyhounds that I have for a while. I think I need to, my lifestyle right now is I wish I could be home a little bit more. I'm home all the time now, right? But yeah, 16 grand, $16,000 in US dollars. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. You are correct, sir. Yeah, it's insanity. But that's how it is. And I was surprised too, because like you think like they always say like the average American is like one like major accident or one major disease or one major sickness away from like bankruptcy. Yeah, I can if this is any taste of that, I can totally understand that. But yeah, that's the Ned Report. Thank you guys for asking. But he will be fine. I should say Anna. We haven't had Anna even a year, so this is like baby's first Christmas. So she's just like wondering what the hell all this crap is around the house. So, anyways, thank you guys very much for that. I want to get into a few things today. Today, I had I was once again. I have just a plethora of topics I could talk about. And, I'll tell you what's funny is like I've had people in the past say, Rollo, do you think you're ever going to run out of material? You've written so much, right? Or they'll there's always a rational male blog post for damn near any occurrence. Like when people think that, oh, here's something, I found out something that the red pill has not yet is undiscovered. No, dude, I probably talked about that back in 2011, 2012. And so I can go back through my backlog and stuff. And people think I'm a snob or whatever. Oh, you're just trying to get traffic for your blog. I mean, it's my blog. I'm Rollo Tomasi. I don't need your traffic. I'm just saying, like, here, you read this, tell me what you think about it. But I probably have talked about it in the past. And one of the things I have talked about, and matter of fact, I think I talked about it with Pat Campbell in the Pat Campbell days, was chivalry, chivalrousness. And I'm going to dig a little bit into that today. That's on tap. Obviously, we're going to be talking about Matt Walsh's red pill conversion. No, his red pill conversion. Yeah, he's really got the red pill today. No, what I think is funny is I was watching. I have done. Okay, I have to readjust myself here. I have in the past just ridden on Myron and Fresh to cover certain topics or cover certain individuals that are red pill adjacent, red pill peripheral, whatever you want to call it. Matt Walsh is one of those guys. Tim Pool was another one way back in the day. I can remember when I first started doing Fresh and Fit on the regular. And I think it was Jack Murphy before he had his flame out. It was like during, I think the first year, like it was 2021. And Jack Murphy suddenly, since Fresh and Fit were a come up back then, because they weren't like as popular as they are now. That's when like people started taking notice of, they started seeing Fresh and Fit in the rearview mirror. And Tim and Jack Murphy were talking about like the red pill stuff. Like now suddenly they wanted to talk about it. And I think Jack Murphy had brought my name up because I knew Jack from back in like the 21 convention days, unfortunately. And I've always been like, hey, if you want me to come on the show, I'll be happy to have this as respectful as I can possibly make it. I'll be happy to come on your show. I mean, the same invitation or the same, open invitation anyways for like, say someone like Chris Williamson, Joe Rogan, whoever else. I mean, I have been on some big name shows. Hello, but if you want me to come on your show, I'll be happy to come on your show. Right. Well, I never get the call. I'm always a bridesmaid, never a bride. So, but I thought it was interesting. And then now Matt Walsh was one of those. And then, so I thought did you guys like today's thumbnail? I thought it was pretty clever. Where'd it go? There you go. Isn't that great? AI will take us into the future. Embrace your artificial intelligent overlords. But I thought that was pretty good. And I lifted that. I forget where I lifted this from, but then I sort of extended it and embellished it a bit myself. So as you know, I'm a graphic designer, art director by trade. So well within my talent set. I thought that was interesting. But I've talked shit about Matt Walsh for quite some time. Matt, I would love to come talk to you too. But I doubt I'm going to get that invitation. It's just simply not forthcoming. But of course, now Myron and Fresh decide that they want to talk about Matt Walsh, and I have brought his name up several times with Myron and Fresh, and now I guess it's important enough to address for a full dedicated show. Which, by the way, I thought was very good. I usually when I watch Myron and Fresh, it's on certain days. Like I'll watch the Friday show. Sometimes I watch the Wednesday shows. I do just because, like, especially if it's something interesting or something I someone I know, like Mr. Organic, I'll watch that stuff. But I know they're trying to do the what's the personal counseling, the marriage counseling stuff. Because I think I was the first one that did that with them too. But so they're talking about Matt Walsh, and I'm like, oh, finally. And it was hot on the heels of Myron calling out Andrew Schultz and Akash. I can't pronounce his last name, from Flagrant 2. Okay, the time to do that was like 2 years ago. Well, a year and a half, 18 months ago. 18 months ago would have been great, guys. That's when you needed to call them out, because I did a full dedicated show just ripping them a new one. They came at me. Abba and Preach came at me after that. And I had so many people saying, you don't know what you're talking about. They're more successful than you. You're just professionally jealous. That's why you're talking about this. You'll do anything to cover for for Myron and Fresh. Yeah, well, I'm just doing a critique of what I see going on right here and learning lessons along the way. That's basically how I operate. But the time to have brought that up was like, I don't know, like 18 months ago. Because I went back in my archives because I did a full dedicated show. It was sort of a breakdown show. I hate to even call it a reaction show, but it was like it was basically a reaction show. And yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Yes, they are essentially clowns. And they know they are clowns as well. That's the thing, is like, when it's one thing if you don't know that you're going to get goofed on. It's one thing to know if you're like a lol cow. It's another thing if you don't know you're a lol cow, or you think you're like dead serious. Like people agree with me. Yeah, in your chat, maybe. But I thought it was funny because they brought them on that show. Now, do you guys remember this? Because I sure the fuck remember this. Do you remember when the whole reason it was like a big deal for them to be on that show in the first place? It's because they said that they don't date black girls. They don't date black women. They don't dabble in the dark. This one throwaway joke snowballs into this huge issue. That's why they had them on there. They wanted to school them on, dating outside your race. But then what was funny is like, then later on, Myron of all people picks out Akash out of his stand-up comedian routine or something about that, how he doesn't date outside of his own race either. So I'm like, pot calling the kettle black. I got it, but who cares at this point? And that's the whole point. It's like, who cares? Why are we? Myron, I love you, man, and I know you want to get in the ring with somebody, but you will kill Akash. Please, Myron, don't hurt him. He was going after Abba as well, from Abba and Preach. And every now and then they just rear their ugly heads and talk shit. And then it's like drive-by. It's like Abba and Preach are like a drive-by gang. It's like, oh, the red pill, drive away. Get in the ring with Pearl. You want me to get in the ring with Pearl? No, she's got, how much body weight do you think she has on me? Ding. I don't have a, but I need one of those. Somebody give me that sound drop. Akash is 5'1". Nah, he's taller than that. He's like 5'4" at least. Black pill calling the kettle black. Yep. Thank you very much. All right. I'm going to pay attention. I'm paying a special. I should really turn the camera around so you can see the studio today. I've got my chat. I have a dedicated monitor just for the chat. So if I'm looking up like this, it means I'm looking at you. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, I want to dig into Matt Walsh's sort of new red pill epiphany. And it kind of tracks a little bit with Zuby recently. I don't know if you guys know who Zuby is. He's like, he's a black guy who does kind of like positivity rap kind of stuff. And he's a positivity guy. I've been on the show with him. I've been on his show on several occasions. We were supposed to do an interview on Access Vegas last summer, but we just couldn't work out the logistics for it. I'll see if I can do it again in 2024. He's a good guy. I like him. The last time I was on Fresh and Fit with him I think it was me and Tori. Like Torsha was on there with me. And he's just he doesn't swear. Like he like makes a conscious effort never to swear, which I guess is kind of admirable. But I can't, but fuck that. I can't do that. So just a good guy, but like recently Zuby was, I think, now this is me speculating here. He was watching James Sexton's divorce videos on what you call it. He was watching it on I think it was either Lex Friedman or it was Sam. Sorry, I got to call Sammy back up. But okay, got it. And so I gotta pull. So I'm distracted by this. People stop. Why do you guys text me when I'm in the middle of a show? So Zuby is talking about prenuptial agreements, and I'm like, where's this coming from? So he must have seen Lex Friedman's show with James Sexton. And of course, I asked him about that. I wasn't the only one. There's a lot of other people who are asking him about it. And James was on Lex Friedman. He was on Soft White Underbelly. He's been making the rounds. I think he might be going on Rogan in January. So
And we tried our damnedest to get him on Fresh and Fit last time we were out in Miami in November, but he caught C-19, so we couldn't really make that work out. So we're going to get him in Vegas and talk to him. But what was interesting was like, I think that really pushed a lot of guys, like the way that James delivers his information and his data. I mean, he's a credible witness, right? I mean, he does this stuff for a living. He is a divorce attorney in New York and has seen all this stuff, is very much red pill, has read all of my books, I count him amongst my friends for sure. I was just on, I did Andrew Wilson's Christmas telethon, his charity fundraiser thing, and he was just having people come on. And I happened to be on at the same time that James was, and we had a really good discussion. But I think that he kind of rattled the cages of a lot of people who are more like sort of this conservative bent. And going on Lex Friedman, I think legitimized him a little bit more with like people like, say, Matt Walsh or Zuby, for example. And so what happens is then these guys get this and they go, you know what? This guy's right. Now, they see James and they don't see me. They don't see the red pill. They don't see the influence of the manosphere. They don't see like the fact that like I've known him for a while. They don't see any of that backstory. So this is a new guy delivering this information that is basically red pill information. He's just putting it in a much more palatable, much more, a good tone. People can understand it. They can digest the information very well. And they foolishly take that over to Twitter or over to Instagram or whatever their social media of choice is. And in Zuby's case, it happened to be Twitter. And they start talking about, the definition of love is a prenuptial arrangement or something, prenuptial agreement. And evangelical Christians lose their fucking minds. And people just like, if they're a tradcon of any, moderate stripe, they lose it on one of their own. On Zuby, who I would arguably say is most definitely, I don't say tradcon, but certainly he's a sweetheart of the conservative side of the aisle, let's just say. And I watched just the vitriol and because in some cases, like there were some people trying to, make their case because it went against their convictions, their ideological convictions, their religious convictions, whatever, spiritual convictions. But the empirical fact is that you need a prenup. And if that's something that is a difficult conversation to have, as James Sexton was saying, if you can't have an honest conversation about a prenup, what else can you not have an honest conversation about? And so then, of course, that leads into a lot of the other points that I have made in the past, James has made in the past, other people in the manosphere for that matter, Rich Cooper has made in the past about marriage and the modern state of marriage. So when people throw rocks at Rollo Tomasi and they say, Rollo's anti-marriage, and then they find out I've been married for 27 and a half or almost a half year, they discovered that my daughter's 25 and she just got married in August. And so then it's like, well, he can't talk about the red pill because, look, he's married. What does he know? He's been out of the game for a long time. Like anything they could find to disqualify. But when they want to disqualify me, they go, well, anyone who doesn't have kids and is single at 30 some odd, Jordan Peterson, for example, if you're 40 and you're single, there's something very wrong with you. You're the old guy in the club. If you're 46 years old and your girlfriend happens to be 22, Mike 13, you're a bad man. And that plays very well to that base. Oh, thank you very much for that. I appreciate you. I'm just going to throw, thank you. If you're going to give me Christmas cheer, I'm going to give you cheer too. Cheer right back at you. Thank you very much, Ire. There you go. FBI, open up! They're here. Thank you. Do your worst. Thank you again. Everybody, thank you. Should I take pictures of Ned in like the antlers? Because we have those antlers that go over there. Because the greyhounds, they kind of do look like deer. Piers Morgan is having a slight red pill epiphany. Slight. I don't know how I feel about that. Let's continue. He's getting heat from feminists because he questioned why Mary Earp won BBC's Sports Personality of the Year. Is Mary Earp a troon? Don't know. I don't know who Mary Earp is. Why do people think I know? And who is Simone Biles? Somebody's like talking shit about Simone Biles, and I'm like, they're saying everybody knows who Simone Biles is. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I got no clue. Let's see. Still bother me the facts that you are now on the radar of the FBI. Oh, that's another thing we'll be talking about today too. Are there any news about it? Yes, there is. Salute you from the fishing village in Chile. Chile, you're the alpha male. You're the alpha male of Chile, of the fishing village in Chile. Feminists hate to admit they biologically love toxic masculinity. Yeah, well, I wouldn't call it toxic. I would say conventional masculinity, most definitely. So, Jesus, you know what the hell? I'll go through these real quick. Women seem to have a mindset that the guy they have been waiting for to appear is like some type of messiah. Oh, so you're referring to that one, the one religious girl, as if they want to have a conversion experience. They do. You're referring probably to, I think it was the second intro video that I threw on there. And so I put that in there for a very specific reason. I'm going to come back to that later on in the show, but yeah, you're right. Let's see. Hate to admit, yeah, you got that right. You got that right, brother. We got to that. Let's see. Gotcha. Piers Morgan. Gotcha. Sam Whiskey. There you are. Now I caught up. Sorry, Sam Bot is not modding today, so don't get any bright ideas. I still have 2 other mods in there. Rollo, my coworker's wife is imposing sleep divorce on her husband. What is sleep divorce? Like she sleeps while he works? Is that like it's opposite schedules or something like that? I don't know what sleep divorce is. I do, however, want to talk about another thing that's another interesting buzz term. The idea of what is it? Conditional femininity, because that kind of dovetails very nicely into the Matt Walsh thing. Anyways, getting back to the story. As far as Zuby's concerned, you're like once these guys who are like resistant to like a red pill understanding or listening to my show, listening to my Minor Refresher, listening to whatever, they tend to look at like say something like whatever podcast or my Minor Refresh, or hell, maybe even Access Vegas or whatever, and then they think that's the red pill. That's the definition of the red pill. And I have to be very careful on this show, because this show is nuts and bolts. This is the rational male, okay? Access Vegas is a different animal. I go do that. That's more entertainment, okay? And it's fun. I want to make it educational. We have a different take on that theme, absolutely. But when people see that, they think, oh, these guys just get these moronic girls on there, and they just cherry pick them, and they get them on there just to look stupid. And it's like, well, nothing could be further from the truth, first of all, especially with ours. But I think this is it. I'm going to throw this up real quick just so you can get an idea.
Only thing I've seen in this whatever podcast, it was like 20 seconds, was these guys who brought on women who didn't know.
Okay, full stop. You guys catch that? Hold on. Let's go back a little bit.
In this whatever podcast, it was like 20 seconds.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Anything you say, by the way, if you're a trad, I don't care who you are. Anyone who starts their diatribe with, I don't know much about these guys, only watch 20 seconds of whatever podcast, and then for the next 45 minutes, you want to go and speak authoritatively about what these guys are about, fuck you. You are insulting my intelligence. I don't know, sideburn guy or, crew cut guy.
Was these guys who brought on women who didn't know what they were talking about, and they made them look stupid. Because I'm
right, Lila. You mean like yourself? The chick that's interviewing this guy? I have no earthly idea who this guy is. But this is what people think the red pill is. They think, oh, it's those panel shows. It's those Gen X dating shows. It's those, dumb 304, Ratchet 304. If you're going to start a new show, call it Ratchet 304. People will watch that. Just by the name alone, they would watch that. Anybody know who this guy is? I don't know. I have to kind of go back to, I picked up this clip off of Twitter. But Lila Rose is the one that was giving Justin Waller shit on whatever podcast. She has been on the show several times and been one of those Ratchet 304s, one of these girls brought on to make look dumb.
pretty sure that whatever podcast is despicable.
Despicable. Now, okay, I'm going at full stop. This is later on I figured this out because this is out of context. Yeah, as you can see, there's jump cuts in here. Well done, Brian. Well done. But you get the point. I have no idea who this guy is. But what's funny is here's a P. Would you like to know tradcons who have been on whatever? Well, so let's start with Lila, Candace Owens, Amala from PragerU, or she used to be a PragerU, Michael Knowles. Any other am I missing some? I'm sure I'm missing some other guys who've been on there. So the people she's been on the show. She's debated Destiny on the show. She has been one of those girls that they were brought on to make fun of. You don't know what you're talking about. Stop it. Jesus, Lord in heaven. Like, are you listening to me?
That they crash and burn.
I hope that they crash and burn. By the way, when you look at this stuff, wait a minute. Where did I see if I can put this on?
Women who didn't know what they were talking about, and they made them look stupid. Because I'm
stupid. You can tell it's an English accent, the part in there. Let's look at this. Look what's in the background here. First of all, she's got her so she's over 100,000. Oh, wow. Bravo. Congratulations. She's over 100,000 on her YouTube. You can tell a lot about people. Like I've got, there you go. That's the length and breadth of my tchotchkes in the back there. But what's funny is like, I've seen, and nothing against Jay Dyer, because I know Jay Dyer does this and I kind of like Jay, but like when I look at guys who have like a bookcase and they've got all this crap in the back, and it's like, okay, what are you trying to tell me with these books and these tchotchkes and these icons and this, what is that, Australia or something back there? I can't even tell what that is. Like a wood cut of Australia. I didn't know she had a book, so clearly she's got her book, has to be prominent in the back there. She's got Sister Mary Elephant right there. She's got, I don't know, the ecumenical, is a rosary bead somewhere else too? I'm not really sure. But this is like, I mean, you look at the background of this and you're like, the intent is to say like, I'm well versed in theology. It's like, welcome to Masterpiece Theater. And by the way, that's them. Okay. If Ortho Bros do the same thing, that's her. Got it. Thanks. I like the table though. The table's really nice. But that's not to say that like there aren't guys like, especially like atheist podcasts, or you've got like guys who are like, and God bless him. I like Stephen Woodward from Rationality Rules. He does the same thing. puts like an Archaeopteryx like skeleton in the back. So I'm into Darwin. Okay, we got it. Thanks. Or who was the other guy? Or you got these guys who are like sort of like they're Twitch streamers and they got banned off of Twitch, and then they come over to the YouTube side, and they still got all their crap. They got like all these Funko Pops in the back, and they've got like, you know, all these Gundams that they built in the back, or they've got like or the girls have like Pokemon like stuffed plushies or some shit like that. Got it. That's like your bio. It's like having like your bio in the show all the time. So here's my bio, guys. Very expensive guitars. That's me. Rollo's my background interest, my visual interest in the back there. Pull this out. There you go. Yeah. But anyways, getting back to, so Zuby is popping off right here, and he's now having to deal with guys like this on Twitter. And now Matt Walsh is having to deal with exactly the same dynamic. Now, it's a different topic. It's not prenuptial agreements, but it is this girl right here.
Went on a date this week and I felt the feminism leaving my body. I live on the east side of LA, and if you don't know what that means, it's sort of like the artsier part of LA, you know.
It's Santa Monica, you dumb bitch.
No, it's people say it's like Brooklyn and New York. Like, so I go on dates with a lot of men and women.
Catch that? I go on dates with a lot of men and women. Oh, really?
Who, you know, live over here. There's always
like somehow that Matt missed that little detail in his breakdown.
Negotiation about who pays, and that's great. I like to pay for people, all that. But what I will
look at her. Okay, stop. Full stop. She's got the cat bowl. What? She's got like cinnamon toast crunch in the bowl. And clearly she doesn't like live in like, she doesn't have this palatial estate. She's probably in a very expensive apartment if she's in Santa Monica. I know exactly where she's talking about. I'm from Southern California. Does she look like the kind of person that pays for dates? I don't think so.
Say is that I sort of fell into going on a date with the most guy I've ever been on a date with. And he's from West, Santa Monica. He's a bro, right?
Really?
A guy's guy is usually not my type. Like, I cannot remember the last time that I went on a date with like a straight bro.
Okay. I love how it's like there has to, you notice that like this mentality. How, first of all, I'm going to ask okay, so let's start. We have to start here because to get to Matt Walsh, we have to go through the first boss. And she's the first boss of today's show. This is the first boss. We got to defeat the first boss. Okay. So, God, that's a great stop too. So first off, my guess is she doesn't actually pay for people on dates, men or women for that matter. So let's just clear the air there. The other thing is like when she's talking about like, he's a bro's bro, he's a man's man. Those are the terms that like feminists or people who are like sort of steeped in the gynocentric social order. Those are euphemisms that they, especially, mostly women will use for guys who are conventionally masculine, who haven't forgot they have testicles attached to their bodies. Or the guys that were like, you know what, I don't know exactly what line of work this bro is in, but most likely he's probably in something that's, a little bit more masculine role of some sorts. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he's a nurse. Who knows? I could be wrong. But when women describe a guy as a bro or a bra, or I don't usually do this, but you've been wanting to do this for a while, clearly. And so you're out on a date with a guy who is conventionally masculine. Now, I use the term conventional every time I say something about masculinity or I say something about femininity or I talk about like the red pill and the blue pill. I usually use terms that are sort of qualifiers for those. So when I use the term traditional, I'm usually talking about like tradcons, right? But when we're talking about masculinity in an objective general sense, you'll hear me use the term conventional masculinity because there are certain traits that make men, doesn't matter what traditions they're from or what ethnicity they're from or what part of the globe they're from or whatever else, there are certain aspects of masculinity that are universal, that are unique to human males, period. Full stop. That's my word for the day is full stop. But she can't put it in those terms because she's kind of has to be a little bit, she's almost like an apologist. I'm sorry, feminists. I went out with Justin Waller.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? But it befell me. It befell me in an organic fashion. So I'm on this date with this guy, and the thing about a guy's guy is he's putting his card down. He's paying for everything. And I really...
Have you ever had a dream
it sort of activated something feral in me, I'm not gonna lie. We went to like another bar and he was gonna go to the bathroom, so I was getting prepared to pay for our drinks because
No, you weren't.
He's been paying all night. Of course I'm gonna pay for the next round, but as he's going to leave for the bathroom, he turns to me and he hands me his credit card and he goes, "Here's my card, get us whatever."
Okay. We're stopping right here for a reason, and it's not the forehead. We're stopping here for a reason because what she's just described also plays into, I guess you could technically put it into Destiny's divorce, but just in a more general sense. Is the guy, now I want you put a 1 in the chat if you think this is right, put a 2 in the chat if you think it's bullshit, okay? Do you think that the guy who's handing her his credit card saying, just get us whatever you think you want to get, right? That's a baller move, okay? It's a Waller move. That's a Waller move. But would you say that a guy who would do that is more affluent than her, makes more money, is paid more than she is? I would make that presumption. Is he older than she is? And how much older do you think this guy is to say, here's my card, order up whatever you want to, I'll be right back, I'm going to go take a piss? My guess is this guy is probably the first dude she's been with who's at least 4 or 5 years old, maybe even older than that, maybe 6 or 7 years older than she is. I could almost guarantee you that the guy she's describing is older than she is. Yeah, tell me how old you think the guy is. Put that in the chat. At least 10. I would say the guy is most definitely. I'm gonna go balls to the wall. I would say at least 5 years older, possibly 7 years older than she is, and that's what's got her vagina tingling for all of this. The reason why I'm making a big deal out of this is because when we look at Matt Walsh's clip, who's going to talk about this as well, he wants to say it's about the money. Well, you don't get that money unless you have done something, unless you have the confidence and like I said, a baller move. Like you don't, unless you have a credit card where it's like, yeah, like they're on a date. Like I presume this is a first date. You're handing this chick your credit card, like to. And the other thing is this. I don't know where they were at or what club they were at or what bar they're at, because she doesn't describe any of this, but she's just like over the moon because she feels the feminism, like, exiting her body as a result of going out with a guy who's conventionally masculine. My guess is he's older. My guess is he's certainly richer. And he also has what I would say is probably Amused Mastery. He's probably got very good command presence. All of the technique stuff that I describe in the Player's Handbook in my 5th book, by the way. Yes, I have 5 books. Command presence, certainly situational awareness, absolutely Amused Mastery. And that Amused Mastery is probably why she creates a video and throws it on TikTok to apologize for getting tingles for this guy that she wouldn't necessarily get tingles for because she's so feminist and maybe she's just out of college or something right now. But then now suddenly she doesn't have a peer group that's going to judge her for going out with a guy like that. But she still feels like maybe they will. And so now she's just like, I don't know. I just like guys who are like that now. So my guess is the guy is older. My guess is the guy is richer. My guess is the guy has at least some amount of game. But I will say this, one part that I have a question about is, why would you not be running a tab in the first place? Just tell the bartender what you want. I'll be right back. I ain't giving you my freaking ATM card. Get the fuck out of here. Why would you not have a tab already running? I worked in the liquor industry for like 15, almost 18 years. That's what I would have presumed, right? Well, we got a tab running. I'll take care of it when I get back from the pisser. How come that's not a detail?
It might be time for me to get away from all these, liberal snowflakes on the east side.
Yep, I would say so. I think so. Okay, why is this going viral? Why would this be a big deal? Because it is a direct slap in the face to what you would probably hear from, Jasmine Jafar or Angela Knight or certainly Melina. Let's see, who else? Not so erudite. Like roll the tape. Get the names out there. Everybody's like, who are you fucking talking about? Destiny's Angels. All the girls who would want to go on there and say, no, it's about how we feel about each other. No, it's about, it's how you feel about the guy who can take care of you. And that's really what it comes down to, because I have butted heads with a lot of people, and Mike Sartain too, because we do agree on this point. I will always say, pay for a date. You're going to take a chick out. That's part, by the way, of establishing frame, is paying for the date and not allowing a woman to pay for the date. Now, some people are going to call this chivalry, and I'm going to tell you you're wrong, because chivalry is not about paying for a date. Chivalry was never about opening doors. Chivalry was never about, what are we going to do? Put your kerchief down on the mud on puddle so milady can walk across the get the fuck out of here with that. Chivalry is not that. It's not opening doors for grandma. That should just be common courtesy. Like, I don't care if it's male or female. Open a damn door for somebody who's older than you, for Christ's sake. Don't be an asshat. But that's not chivalry. And I've written quite extensively about chivalry. So all you guys on Twitter who say, Rollo doesn't know anything about dude, read my 4th book. There is an extensive chapter. In fact, I'm going to read from it here today too, to let you know exactly the history of chivalry. Again, something I got into with Pat Campbell back in the Pat Campbell days. I've written extensively on chivalry and why what we think is chivalry today is not. And I have to bring this up once again in the preamble here, because Matt Walsh would like to say, well, here's women really want chivalry and you can't have feminism and you can't have chivalry in the same thing. No, Matt, because what you think is chivalry is bullshit. It is feminine primacy is what it is. It is gynocentrism. The chivalry that you think is chivalry is really feminism 1.0 instead of feminism 2.0, which is what we've got right now. But before I do that, I got a new member here. There you go. Wait a minute. Hold on. Thank you for joining, my friend. I need a sound drop just for joins. Hello. Why don't you invite Mystery to show? We do. Good question. Thank you. Thank you for, we have Mystery on tap, as a matter of fact. Mike is supposed to be, I don't know if he's already done it or if he's going to. I think in January, we're going to be interviewing Mystery and we'll probably have him on the show, probably get him on with the girls too. So yes, Mike knows a lot of the old school PUA guys from back in the day, from like 20 years ago. But Mystery is definitely on tap. That's why. So yeah, hold your horses. It's coming for sure. Now people are going to clip that part. Most people, Chad. Oh my God, Mish. People are R-rated. Rollo makes life. Most people are R-rated. Rollo makes life easier for the rest of us to get ahead. You know what? You're right. Just for you, Mish. Let's see. Merry Christmas to Ned's personal assistant and the $6 million dog. Yes, we can rebuild him. We have the technology. Better, stronger, faster. I don't know if it'd be faster. Merry Christmas. Thank you very much, Dennis. I right back at you, brother. God Yule. You know what that means? God Yule. It's good Yule. If you're gonna appropriate my culture, and that's what a lot of people do, at least go get yourself. Do you know what a Yule goat is? I should go dig out I have a picture of my Yule goats. You'll need a good Yule goat for Christmas. I'll suggest you how to get some. You need Yule goats. Thank you, Rollo. Love from India. Brother. Rational Male saved my life. Oh, really? Let's say that again. Rational Male saved my life. Still in my anger phase, but started going to the gym last year and lost 40 kilograms. And I know how much that is in pounds. Thank you very much, because Ned is 37.5 kilograms, right about 82.2 pounds. Any tips on overcoming porn? Yeah, stop. Side note, would molest Akash to see Ned in antlers? Okay. All right, I'll do it. You watch for that on my Instagram. I'll put it on my Instagram later on. I can't do it right now. Overcoming porn. Yeah. The first part is understanding that pornography is sedation. And I think the best, knowing is half the battle, right? Understanding, I think a lot of people try to focus on when you jerk off, you got a dopamine rush, and then you train your brain to want to, watch increasingly escalating more degenerate porn over the years. Oh, maybe, but the solution to this is just fucking stop. Replace those habits with better habits, with better things. And this is just me spitballing here, because this is what I would say. If you were telling me, I had a guy on here, he was telling me how to get off a kratom, right? Or how to stop drinking, or whatever their sedation happens to be. In this case, it happens to be porn, right? Well, if you watch enough, I don't know, Andrew Huberman, and you watch enough, Alex Hormozy and some of the rest of these guys who are I don't know, usually a no nut November, right? People will say, it trains your brain, or there's a biological aspect to it. Yes, there is. And it's about dopamine. Yes. And dopamine, by the way, is not the pleasure hormone. It is the precursor to the pleasure hormones. It's what says it's the anticipation, right? It's what gambling addicts get off on. Really, dopamine is a gambling addict hormone, let's just say. But the endorphins, what makes you feel good when you're jerking off, or you won the lottery or some shit like that. That's a different chemical. But still, we focus primarily on dopamine. And so the key is this: replace that habit that is giving you that dopamine rush with something else, something productive, hopefully, something that you really like. So one of the things I tell guys is if you're trying to stop drinking, or trying to I think it was kratom. Somebody saying, how do I get off kratom? You have to replace that with something that is, and it's probably not going to give you the same rush, but there are certain things that you could do. Going to the gym will give you that flush of good endorphins and dopamine, I guess, too. Or you get a runner's high kind of thing. And you start doing those things and you get out of one habit and into another one that is giving you somewhat of a dopamine hit when you're doing it. For me personally, it's like listening to like Lamb of God or Slayer or something like that, or going to a good show and getting in the pit at my age, right? Going running around in the pit and being an idiot, right? The things that make you happy, that in the moment that you're doing, it's like your happiness is a proximate goal, right? That's really what it's about. So find what's sedating you and replace whatever that dopamine hit is with something that's different. Listen to loud ass music. Start playing music, right? Give yourself something to do. Because usually when you're jerking off, it's because you're bored. You're drinking not because you're drowning your sorrows, but because drinking makes other things more enjoyable, or you tend to associate it with doing certain things. Break that cycle and you can break the habit. And by the way, it's habitual. Who ate the bosses on level of the red pill tower power? Thank you. Well, we beat the first boss. She's off. She's this girl. Wait.
I went on a date this.
Okay. Ding ding ding. Wait a minute. There.
Finish her.
Okay.
Flawless victory.
Okay, we beat that boss. I appreciate you, Rollo. I appreciate you too. Happy holidays to you and your family. God Yule. Thank you very much, Timeless. Love you like the brother you are. Marriage causes divorce. Is the blonde chick beta widowed? Now she has received a credit card on the first date. How will her future boyfriends compete now she has been ruined? Yeah, maybe. But what's interesting to me is, and this is really kind of where Matt goes with this, and he's not the only one, by the way. Brett Cooper's talked about this, and it's like the most obvious thing. And the most obvious thing is not always the correct thing. And I know that's the Occam's razor thing. Well, it's obvious that she just gets off on having a credit card. She's a gold digging bitch. No. She's getting off on the fact that the guy's probably older. And if he's not that much older than she is, it's like the attitude of having like amused mastery. I have mastery of my frame. I have mastery of my realm. Here, bitch, you're in my world right now. And in my world, you use my card to go get drinks. That's frame control. Definitely. So when people say, Rollo, I would never pay for a girl for a dinner or for anything like that. That's simping behavior. No, it's not. It's frame. It's establishing frame is what it is. This is my world. And in my world, I take care of my bitches. In my world, here's my card. In my world, I'm paying for the Uber to get you back home, or I'm driving you there myself in my nice car. Doesn't have to be super expensive, but it's still and I'm the one that's driving it. I'm not driving you. When I started dating, here's a quick personal story. And people know this, I've said this a million times. When I first started dating Mrs. Tomasi, she expected me to be the guy who was in control. She expected me to be alpha. Her father, by the way, from Texas, very alpha guy. And whenever we would go on a date and we took her car, because sometimes we'd be my car. I had a truck. She had whatever, Suzuki Vitara, some shit like that. She would hand me the keys and she'd say, okay, we're going, I would say, hey, we're going to go to such and such. Okay. She'd hand me the keys and I was driving her car. I wasn't insured on her car. She still hands me the keys, right? She's actually the first woman to ever do that because she expected me to be in the driver's seat. And that really kind of set the tone for our relationship. She expects me to have frame control already just by default, right? So, and I'm happy to say that I stepped into that role very, very easily. But I will say she was the first one to ever do that. And here you have this one girl that's talking about like, oh, he gave me his credit card. I can't believe it, right? That's some like new revelation to her, something very novel. Well, that's because you don't expect it from the dudes that you usually date, because they're walking on eggshells. They don't want to offend because they don't want to miss the pussy, right? They don't want to fuck up their good thing. They don't want to, it's a sure thing. Oh, I'm in there. I just don't want her to think that I don't support women's rights. I don't want her to think that I don't respect women. And it's like this constant like subroutine running in the backs of their brains. Like these guys who she's talking about, these simpy kind of wimpy, what do they say? Guys from the East Side or whatever it was, these liberal guys. And it's very reinforcing ideologically. It's very reinforcing for guys like Matt Walsh to talk about this kind of stuff because it seemed like, see, we were right all along. It's like, again, it goes back to the prodigal son narrative. Here's a woman who strayed from the faith. She went away from, like, she's never experienced this good, a guy who's older, richer, like into her, who has a frame and a world into which she wants to enter. And now she's come back to the, I see the light. I see the light. I see the light. And now I understand the value of a conservative guy, or at least a guy who has frame control. A guy who probably uses Amused Mastery. I'll explain that to you in a minute. What is Amused Mastery? But she's finally in a relationship now, or I don't know, maybe she's not in a relationship. She went on a date with a guy who just established from day one, said from the get-go, from the jump, says, I'm driving the car. This is where we're going. Here's my credit card. I got to take a piss. Justin Waller will say something like that on any random podcast. Hell, I hate to. Okay, I love Jedediah Bila like a sister, the sister she is, right? And she, by the way, she's in Montana now. But she was on his show, and you could just, and I knew it was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. The very first interview between Jed and Justin Waller, and Justin has that Southern gentleman from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. You know, he's like, he's a fine Southern gentleman who takes care of his stuff and takes care of his women and takes care of his kin. And he does. Honestly, that's who he is, right? Women melt for that shit. If you look like Justin Waller, if you have that kind of just slight bit of a Southern drawl, he's not like, when I talk to Justin, I can just get that Southern drawl. When I know when he's coming back from Baton Rouge, because it's like he still has it gets a little more intensified. But a good friend of mine, I'm not ratting him out or anything like that, but that's his thing. That's part of his game, right? And you have probably heard him say this on several occasions, like, I would never let a woman pay for a date. I would never let a woman pay for her drinks. I would never let a woman, like, yeah, I would pick her up. I drive. I open the door for her. Say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, and he does, by the way. Again, that Southern, I don't know, sensibilities, I guess, like old school, like, you know, the old South, right? And women love that. You know why? Because it's so fucking rare. Because guys are like, even the guys who could pull that off it doesn't even occur to them to try to pull something like that off. That's part of his game. And it works for him because that's who he is. It's authentic. So his game, not necessarily inauthentic. It's just that's the way he is. Throw that on, New York City girl like Jedediah Bila, and yeah, married and still like, it's like that. Do you remember in Indiana Jones, when Indiana Jones is in the classroom in the beginning of the movie and he's like, giving the lecture and stuff like that, and the girls are like, that's exactly she's got the eye that says love you, like tattooed under her eyes. I love you. that's the impression I got during that interview. But that's that again, here we have a different example of that. I got one more example of that as well before we get into this, but she's the first boss. We just beat the first boss. So we'll pull her out of the studio right now. Merry Christmas to you, Rollo. Merry. And your family. Thank you. I've gotten everything I wanted. Thanks to your work, and still more to come. Thank you, Viking Paradigm. I know who you are. I got your number. I appreciate you, fam. I got you, fam. Love Habibi. Rollo. Thank you. Love Habibi. Love. And here we go. Iron Frame. Merry Christmas, Rollo. Hopefully there will be copies of your book under a bunch of trees. Yeah, the right sales are going. It's pretty good this week, actually. Do you usually see a spike in book sales during holidays? I do, actually. And it's usually physical books. It's like the one time a year my physical books actually outsell my Audible. Because it's really kind of hard to, like, unless you give a gift card for Audible, it's really tough. But and I'm happy people do that. About like right around the holiday season, from right around the end of October all the way to the end to the New Year's, physical book sales, like an actual book, it accounts for about 75% of my sales. I have, I've got Kindle Direct, which is like the Kindle, the e-reader. I've got physical books, and then I've got Audible. All, by the way, you can find in the link below, please. It's that wonderful time of the year. And by the way, I had to make this announcement too. I had two people that were asking me to give them signed personal copies of the first book. I have the book. I've just been trying to get out of the house to go and mail these things. This is the time of year I actually will go and occasionally I'll do a signed book and put it in the mail and take care of it. I wish I could do that. I wish I had some sort of like system where I could like put out a signed book, because I like doing that. It's just really, makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. But but then I've been sort of housebound and trapped because I can't really go because I have to keep an eye on Ned. One of us is always, my wife or I'm always keeping an eye on Ned these days because we don't want to repeat the same, fuck up that we did. Anyways, so that was that part. That's part one. Part two is, I hope I'm getting the right video here. Part two is this. And let's see. Is that it? Oh, I have another one. I've got some treats for you today that I think are really funny. Oh, okay. So this is it. Hopefully this is going to come up right.
One of the best dates of my life.
Okay. This girl right here is Farah. Yes, Walmart Mia Khalifa. They're all that. Like Jasmine Jafar. It's like first it was her, and then Jasmine Jafar comes up, and it's like Jasmine Jafar. Really? Wait, you can't be a little more creative than that? So anyways, this is Farah. Farah was on the Farah, however it is. Farha. She's on OnlyFans. She's supposed to be a virgin. I know she's a lesbian too, so she doesn't count the fact that she's like banged girls. That doesn't count because I guess she's still a virgin because she hasn't had anything inserted into her that is like a guy. And so that's her thing. That's her shtick. She's all over the place. She's been on whatever podcast, God knows how many times. This girl must fly a lot because I know she lives in Miami and I know she is on whatever podcast quite often. So I don't know if it's Brian that's flew her out or if she's flying out on her own or whatever, but this chick flies more than I do. And I fly a lot. So, anyway, so this is her. By the way, this is right after this clip right here. Now, why am I showing you this? It dovetails into the first boss that we had to defeat. Okay, because part of this, she's going to relate a date very similar to the blonde-haired girl with the weird eyebrows. Okay, and let's see if I can
vibing, and he's talking about how much he hates the porn industry and how he's like very against porn. I forgot how it came up. I was talking about living in LA and I was like, yeah, and then I started an OnlyFans and hid the reaction on his face and thought about, Rollo and Red Pill and how they were all right. So yeah,
I'm sorry, what was that? Say that one more time.
Showing him my content and yeah, he's not reacting. And I was like, well, what are you thinking? Like, what's going through your head?
Okay, so that's the build. That's the build up for this one. Let's see if I can scrub through this so we can get to. I've used this before. I won't. Of course, I'm not going to show you the whole damn thing, but I want to get to the part that is almost identical to what our first boss was.
The rest of the story goes. So go ahead.
What do you think happens?
I have no idea. Let's go ahead and find out.
Do you want to place bets?
Not really, because I didn't see the interactions. If I had to guess, I would say either one, he pretends to change his entire position.
No need to place bets.
No. See the interactions leading up to this point.
Oh wait, let's back.
It's kind of like the face where he's like, I knew there was porn industry and how he's like very against porn, and I was like, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna scrub it to the point where she's talking about.
Probably like one of the best dates of my life.
Okay.
And we're vibing, and he's talking about how much he hates.
Okay, so this is a conservative dude. She's trying to explain here. There we go. Get back. Okay, I think
not reacting, and I was like, well, what are you thinking? Like, what's going through your head? This isn't a fight. This is like an anecdote.
Okay.
So yesterday, I went on a date with this TradCon boy.
Okay.
We got lunch for like 5 hours.
Okay.
And then we went to the beach and hung out in the sand.
I can tell you have a nice tan.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't ask me if I feel weird about being too brown or like if I
Nice,
felt
that's
bad
cool. Just
tanning too
fetishized you
much.
for your
God, I love how like autistic gamma male guys have to feel like they have to be talking all the time, especially when a woman is trying to describe like the fact that she was like getting with a guy that's not him. and it gets better. But the thing is the reaction, and I'm picking on Destiny, but a lot of guys a lot of gamma male autistic, semi-autistic, functionally autistic guys will do exactly the same thing.
Your Islamic everything, and yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So anyways, everything's going perfectly. I love tradcons.
Love the expression on his face. I love tradcons.
Because I actually know how to like date and stuff.
Yeah.
And we're hanging out on the beach, and he's like talking, and we're really vibing. Like
Okay.
this was probably like one of the best dates of my life.
Okay, did you catch that? Vibing. Throwing that one out there. When women don't know how to describe an emotional connection, like in technical terms, in realistic terms, they use magical terms. Vibing is one of those. If you hear a woman say, "Oh, we were vibing," energy, I was in my feminine energy and he was in his masculine energy. No, he was conventionally masculine and you got off on that. It was triggering hormones and you got aroused by the fact that he was a guy that you're not accustomed to. He's a guy who's like unapologetically masculine.
Okay.
And we're vibing, and he's talking about how much he hates the porn industry and how he's like very against porn. And I was like, yeah, me too. Because I forgot that I'm like a prostitute.
Okay.
So then I got really stressed because he wanted to kiss me, and I could tell that like if I told him the OnlyFans thing, I thought it'd be a huge turnoff, but I thought it'd be like rape if I kissed him without telling him.
Okay.
Since he's so against the porn industry.
Mm-hmm.
So I came clean.
Did he flip flop his whole opinion?
So I
I love how he feigns disinterest.
shoehorned it into conversation, and I was like, I forgot how it came up. I was talking about living in LA, and I was like, yeah, and then I started an OnlyFans, and hit the reaction on his face. It was like a gut punch to me. Like it was like fatherly disappointment.
Okay.
It was kind of like the face where he's like, I knew this was like too good to be
A
true.
catch. Well, he probably wasn't thinking that, but yeah.
No, he
go ahead.
was. I'm like a tradcon wet dream. I'm like a virgin who doesn't.
You got that? God. Matt Walsh, where were you when this shit went down? This shit went down. You missed this one. Now remember, this is I think in June of this year, because I was on the show with her, with Justin Waller. Then there's backstory to that too. Me, Justin, and Mike and Kylie was on that same show. Okay. She was giving me this back and forth. And by the way, later on, come to find out that she is actually texting Destiny throughout this show, admitted it on his own show. So just throw that one out there real quick. But I'm living rent free in her head.
Doesn't leave the house.
Wow.
And then also I don't drive. And after
cook
like
or clean.
yeah,
You don't drive. Really?
yeah.
But
and then after like the Steven Crowder like wife drama with the car, I feel like I became more attractive in every conservative's eyes, because that would never happen with me, because I can't.
So you're basically like a child. You have to be picked up from your house because you have no car. And you are thrilled and you get giant tingles because a guy who you wouldn't normally be aroused by has taken some sort of interest in you.
Can't drive. So I can never take the car away from my Steven Crowder. But anyways,
My Steven. No, now she's talking about mine. She's made it possess. The guy is hers.
told him, and his face changed, and I got really bummed out. I kind of thought like while we were talking, he'd eventually like get over it or like change his position now that we've like fallen in love over the course of the past 5 hours.
Okay.
But I was like, yeah, I know you've been talking about porn and stuff, so I don't know if you're like against it. And he goes, yeah, I am against it. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he was like, can I see your content? And I was like, sure. So I was like showing him my content. And
Okay, halt. I've used this clip before, so if you know, please don't say in the chat. Do you think he blows her off and says, "Oh, fuck it, I'm out. No way, I can't get with somebody who's in OnlyFans"? Or do you think he goes, "You know, this is all right. I think I'm good. This is all right. This is good." What do you think it is?
so funny.
Nothing. Keep going.
What are you thinking?
Nothing. Just go for it.
Calling him out. That's, by the way, this exchange right here is classic gamma male exchange between a hot girl and a guy who just simply he's uncomfortable. You could tell he's uncomfortable with the conversation, because it's my guess he's probably nailed her once, brought her on, and then tried to sort of like turn her into a protege, and it just and then to hear this is probably a gut punch.
There was something you thought that triggered that little smirk.
There's a lot of things I'm thinking that are trigger concern, but I need to know how the rest of the story goes. So go ahead.
The next time you think that women don't pick up on like sub communications and like little like innuendos and nuances and stuff like that, there's your proof right there. By the way, Destiny, Steve, proof positive. That's the red pill right there.
What do you think happens?
I have no idea. Let's go ahead and find out.
Do you want to place bets?
Not really, because I didn't see the interactions. If I had to guess, I would say either one, he pretends to change his entire position.
No need to place
one is
bets.
no. See the interactions leading up to this point. My guess would be one is that he'll pretend to change his entire position because he doesn't actually care about it that much, or two is that he has decided he doesn't care, but he just wants to see your shit without having to pay for it. Those are like my two guesses right now, but
because that's what he would do. I think that's funny. Maybe he was just like spitballing, like this is on the fly. I can't dig him too much on this, but like the fact is, like, I sincerely doubt that a guy who is of the caliber that she's describing really cares enough to go, oh, I want to get some free OnlyFans from you. Let me see what you got right there on your phone. That's, I mean, you're supposed to be a guy who's very like sort of analytical and deductive, Steve. So
let's see what happens.
You thought he asked to see my like the album just to get free OF content?
Yeah.
He probably spent more on the date. Like,
doesn't matter. It's free shit.
I don't think he was thinking like that.
Possible. I get honored when girls give me their free link, even if it's like $5. I'm like, oh, cool.
But anyways.
Go ahead.
So I'm like swiping.
As I said, because that's what he did. Just cop to it.
Through everything. His face is like very cold and I just feel very stressed.
Okay.
And it's funny because we went out to lunch and we were like drinking and stuff. I'm not supposed to be drinking on SSRIs.
Okay.
But I did anyway.
I'm not supposed to be drinking on SSRIs, on antidepressants. Kind of puts our show on whatever podcast into a little bit better perspective, doesn't it?
And then I was in the bathroom and I was really stressed. And I actually, like, this is so simpy of me. I took the OF out of my Instagram bio because I was like so stressed. And I was like, should I just delete my account right now? Which is probably the dumbest thought I've ever had. So I don't think I'll be drinking anymore.
Okay. Once again, Steve, you want to know here? Welcome to the Red Pill, my Destiny, my friend. I'll use your proper name, Destiny. What she just said right there is women, if they are that invested in a guy that is a sure fucking thing, like his alpha cred, he is so alpha that she could say, you know what? I'm probably not going to find a better dude than this. She will start to find ways, or at least think about breaking rules for alphas and making rules for betas. Breaking rules in this case is, I couldn't believe it. I was actually considering dumping my OnlyFans. Okay, hang on, guys. I got to go. One sec. I'm coming. What's wrong? Oh, man. Sorry, guys. I had a minor Ned emergency. He kind of got up a little twisted and stuff. So I'm gonna let this play for a minute here because I wanted you guys to see this.
Unnecessarize, but then I was like, this is so stupid. This is like a first date with someone. I don't know if they'd even care. But I just felt like I heard Rollo Tomasi in my head, like when he said to me on the podcast, like, do you think you having an OnlyFans will prevent you from finding the guy who you'd eventually want to have sex with? And like when he said that, I thought that was ridiculous because I started my OF in LA and nobody there cares.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know? Would you agree?
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going on, but keep talking. I'm listening.
There's a lot of stuff going on?
Yeah. There's just like 50 things with the stories, but I just want to get to the end.
What do you mean 50 things? Name 2.
You have problems with who you are, what you do is work, and you need to figure that shit out before you try to date anybody because it seems like you're not even 100% comfortable with how you live your own life, and I don't know why you would try to deal with it. No, it is that. 100% it is that.
I have 2 personalities.
No, you don't. You have one person. You're not 2 people. You're not Batman. You have one personality.
No.
You're a girl. You do OF, which is fine, but the idea of like hiding that or feeling weird about that or whatever is very strange to move through life like that because you're like a walking like I don't know what's going to happen in like the next encounter with a person that might or might not like some part of my life. I think that's an important thing to figure out. That's what's in my head. But go ahead.
Well, anyways, I was saying that like half of me is this tradcon.
Okay.
And then the other half.
There's no part of you that is tradcon. I don't know why you keep saying that.
You said that to me that you think I'm tradcon.
I don't think I've ever said that to you. If I have, it's been joking. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Even at that, I'm joking. I think the thing I use most of it is radfem.
No, I'm very tradcon.
Okay, there's no part of you that's tradcon. I don't know why you keep saying that, but okay.
What do you mean?
Just what I said. You're nothing about you is tradcon.
I'm traditional.
Okay.
Anyways, and then the other half of me is just a hooker. So those 2 sides war because I really like conservative boys. Like I've always been more attracted to like conservative guys.
Okay.
Do you feel that way?
I'm not attracted to conservative guys, so no.
At all?
No, I'm not. But I'm not. I don't date guys, so.
I said attracted to. I'm testing your bisexuality right now.
Okay.
So are you?
I'm more bisexual than you're bisexual. Okay, so.
Yeah, I'm more lesbian than straight. So yeah, you probably are more bisexual.
I've probably had more experience with guys than you've had with girls. When I say I'm more bisexual than you're bisexual.
It's not about that. It's about the ratio of like.
I don't think it's about the ratio.
Yeah,
Wait,
it
keep
is. Because I'm 10 years younger than you, and I'm conservative, so obviously I'm gonna hook up with less people.
If it's about the ratio, then we would go ratio by age.
No.
But regardless, keep going to the next thing.
How many guys have you hooked up with?
Keep going to the next thing. Keep going to the next thing. What's the next part of this?
I just wish you were more intrigued.
About what?
How this ends.
I am. I'm trying to get to the end of the story.
I forget where I was.
You were in the bathroom thinking about you want to be fake tradcon, and you're also sad about your OnlyFans. You have no idea what your life is.
So I was very drunk in the bathroom because I had like 5 Prosecco glasses, and I was like, okay, I removed the link, and then I looked at my entire Instagram, and I was like, I'm still a whore, even without the link. And then all my captions are like link in bio, and then all the like posts in my Instagram are like about OnlyFans and stuff. And I got really stressed because it's so rare that I like guys. And I was like, honestly, like, should I just delete it right now? But I realized that was also stupid because, you know what I mean? It's already like out there online, so there's no point. So it was an internal dilemma for me, and I didn't delete it, and I just told him instead, and I got really nervous and thought about Rollo and Red Pill and how they were all right. And so I'm showing him my content, and he's not reacting, and I was like, well, what are you thinking? Like, what's going through your head? And he was like, honestly, like, I think these are really hot. And I was just like, really? And he's like, yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
I was so right on my first guess. Okay,
that was what I was gonna say?
That was my first guess, yeah.
Yeah. So he's fine, and then he left, and then he messaged me and was like, Sunday night, and I was like, Sunday night. So I win. Yeah,
you've won something, all right. Yeah.
I get the tradcon, and I get to be a whore.
Okay.
So I was gonna ask you something related to it, but you're being kind of mean.
What do you want me to say?
Say your opinions. You've been laughing.
I already said my opinions. You don't like them. That doesn't count as me being mean. I just give my opinions on things. My prediction was right.
Wait, what was your opinion? That I need to work out my identity before dating? That's never gonna happen. I'm gonna die alone.
Well, that's life.
You think I need to like figure out my opinions on OnlyFans before dating?
Yeah, of course.
Why?
Because you're constantly going to be running into issues that are going to be dilemmas that are unsolvable because other people are posing questions to you that require you to have your first principles resolved, and you don't have those resolved. So it's just going to like be weirder and weirder and weirder. Yeah.
I guess I just feel like so many people's principles are just so flexible. Like, this was a first date, so it felt more stressful to tell him. But again, like, I felt like because he was talking about porn so much, I was like, I feel unethical not bringing this up. But what was I gonna say? But I feel like most guys, if you waited till like the 10th date or something or told them, like, they probably wouldn't really care.
I mean, it super depends on the type of lifestyle they live and what their disposition is. Like, if they have a family and they're going to introduce you to them, it's probably not going to work. In the future, if you guys were to start dating, he's going to tell you to stop doing OnlyFans, 100%.
No.
Okay, he will. Well, unless he's not tradcon, which is also probably more likely.
He's very tradcon.
He's not tradcon and okay with you doing sex work. Those two things are, or actually, but you might not even have any idea what tradcon means. I don't even know if you know what that means. So,
I love how he tries to qualify this stuff. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, my bad. Well, actually, not my bad. I had a minor emergency with Ned. Here's the thing with Ned, because he has this cast on right now. When he sleeps, he'll still sleep like he's roaching or whatever. But if he like moves over, he falls over when he sleeps, like sometimes he'll like get a Charlie horse or something because he is not like running because we can't let him run. So he'll get like his muscles will get tied up. It's kind of like a bodybuilder who's on like gear or something like that. And you don't drink enough water, your muscles will tie up. That's kind of like what he's doing right now. So he's good though. Don't worry about it. He's fine. Just I had to run downstairs and run back upstairs.
He like, wait, how would you characterize tradcon?
when I think tradcon, I think traditional and conservative.
Right.
So they have conservative social values and they tend to live traditional lifestyles.
Yes.
Both parts of those preclude somebody doing sex work.
Yes, but that's why I'm saying like it's an exception and I win.
Okay.
And you know what? That's probably a good place to stop right there. Yeah, he's fine. Thank you very much. He's fine. No, he's not on steroids, but he is on gabapentin and he is on some antibiotics and he is on carprofen, I think, too. Those are the things that are like his sort of like his painkillers and stuff. But other than that, I mean, he's fine. I had to run down there because he was kind of like, it was kind of knotted up again and he was making a noise. So my wife called me out. So, all right, there you go. Yeah. So anyways, getting back to it. So I had to throw that one out there too, because that's very similar to our first boss that we had to beat. Okay. I went on a date with a guy who was conservative and oh my God, I think Rollo might be right. Yeah, it might be. I wonder if Destiny has a different opinion of it now that Mel has decided to move on. I can't say that the new guy is any more masculine than he is. In fact, that's still kind of dumbfounding a lot of guys, but he was masculine enough to demand exclusivity from a woman who on Lex Friedman said something to the effect of, I've always been in open relationships. Not anymore. He wants it. He's fine. Don't worry about it. He's good. I promise you he's fine right now. It's all comes out in the wash. Gotta give him a rub down. He needs like physical therapy. People were saying, I'll tell you it's funny, is when we did the second surgery, when we had the old plate pulled out and put the new plate in. I should go get the plate for you and show you what it looks like. When we pulled the old plate out and put the new plate in, they were saying, like the surgeon was telling us that he was going to have to go and get like hydrotherapy after he was all closed up and it gets 100% healed. Like he still has to go through like kind of like a physical therapy kind of thing for about a month or so. And one of the things they said was he has to go through hydrotherapy, which means they put him in a tank, a tank of water. And I'm like, I'm keeping him alive just so I can see him do that. So anyway, so that's okay. Now we are at part about halfway through. Okay. So now we have to get to Matt Walsh's take on all of this, because here's like a tradcon talking about, I think I'm accurate in calling Matt Walsh a tradcon, traditional conservative, a SOCON, social conservative, tradcon, econ, economically conservative, tradfem, tradspurg, whatever. I'm fairly comfortable in referring to Matt as a tradcon. Now, remember, in all of this, this is the same guy who came at me indirectly, but comes at Ryan Stone for calling his kids fuck trophies. That was a stroke of genius, Ryan. But this guy is well aware of the red pill, well aware of the manosphere, well aware of whatever podcast, well aware of Fresh and Fit, certainly well aware of Pearl Davis. Okay. So whenever he feigns like ignorance about, I don't know, I've heard about this. What is this red pill of which you speak? Get the fuck out of here, dude. Especially now. It's a little late in the game to play like Pollyanna naive, waif. I don't know anything about the manosphere. Get the fuck out of here, Matt. You know who we are. And if you don't, your PR people do, and your handlers do, and your production staff does. They absolutely know who we are. I thought that was interesting when I went on Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil, like when he gets on the show, like the only time I ever met Dr. Phil was right there on the show. I didn't meet him before. He's not social. He doesn't say, "Hey, how's it going?" Hangs out with you in the green room or anything. He is on stage and off the stage, and he gets on and they usher him off. And the first thing he says is, "I don't know much about this red pill stuff. I don't know much about this Andrew Tate, but let me tell you about Andrew Tate," right? Well, he might not, but you better be damn sure his production people do. That's why I was on the show to begin with. So, Matt, cut the shit, okay? Please. Female quagmire. Yep. Giggity. I understood that reference. Let's see. Rollo is the ghost of Christmas host. Sorry, I had to leave for a second. Sometimes that the last time this happened, the last time I had to like leave the command seat, the command chair, was when the fire alarm went off, or that like the smoke detectors went off, because it was chirping, and then it was like, then the battery dies and so it goes off kind of thing. And I had to stop in the middle of the show, go out, grab a 9-volt battery, get the step stool, put it up, do the thing, and come back to the show because you can't continue because it's right there. God, what a nightmare that was. I want to explain, so have you ever had to replace the battery or in a smoke detector in your house or anything like that, where it chirp, chirp, chirp? It's maddening, right? Or sometimes it'll just go off, like to let you know, hey, change the goddamn thing. Why does that happen at 2 a.m. or like right in the middle of the show? I've never had a smoke detector do that at a convenient time or when I'm like dead in REM sleep. Why does it happen at 2 a.m? I don't understand why. Female quagmire. I got to, oh, wait, here it is. Better Bachelor won their shave club contest. Won their shave club contest? Who's there? I don't know. What shave club? I don't know. I've been shaving with straight razor, trying to anyways. Trust me, don't try to do it with your left hand if you're right-handed. Yeah, it's Murphy's law, but I think it's like smoke detectors law or some shit, because I actually had to change this not too long ago, back 2 or 3 days ago, and I have to change them real quick because my dogs freak out if like they hear that tone. So yeah. Okay, getting back to it. Now we have to move. I'm not going to play this video, but I do know that Myron and Fresh hit on Matt Walsh talking about the first female boss, but I wanted to give you those as sort of like the build up to this video right here, because this is really what Matt was getting into. Let's see. And Myron and Fresh were talking about as well. Let's see. Not that one. Sorry, I'm looking for the video now. That's not it. Is it in the intro? Maybe it is. Oh, shit. Where did it go? Oh, I know. Here it is. I'm sorry. Oops, I almost threw this away. Shit. Sorry, it's on the desktop. That's why it's not in my regular folder here. Unpopular opinion. Here we go. Sorry. Took me a little while to figure this out.
Cancellation Day. We begin with a viral video that's been getting a lot of positive attention, especially on the right. Conservatives seem to find it quite encouraging. They see it as a sign, perhaps, of good things ahead for the culture as we enter the year 2024. My take, as you might expect, is not quite that optimistic. I'll explain, but first let's watch the video. Here it is.
Guys, I went on a date this week and I felt the feminism leaving my body. I live on the east side of LA, and if you don't know what that means, it's sort of...
All right, we already went through this, so you guys got the idea. We don't need to talk about the first boss again. Let's just get, here we go. Okay, so here's Matt's take.
It might be time for me to get away from all these, liberal snowflakes on the east side.
Okay, now, as difficult...
The reason why these guys love this shit is because it's confirmation is what it is. Like, see, we were right all along. Here we go.
As this can be for me, I'm not going to get hung up on minutia here. The phrase, "it befell me in an organic fashion," is not really English and doesn't make any grammatical...
Just say bullshit. Say bullshit, Matt. Come on. I know you can say it. Say bullshit.
...sense, and if I was single and someone uttered that sentence on a date in my presence, I would leave and never call again, and I also wouldn't pay, but that's not the...
Okay, Matt, you haven't been on a date in ages, but that's beside the point at this point. The fact of the matter is like, you love this shit because it's confirmation.
Now, as I mentioned, conservatives are generally celebrating this video because it supposedly shows how, in this individual case, traditional masculinity vanquished feminism. She even says that the
we win.
Feminism is leaving her body, which is indeed the kind of thing we love to hear. But on the other...
Okay. I want to stop it right here real quick because do you guys remember when, when Russia invaded Ukraine or, now I know what it was. Like in 2020 when Antifa went all nuts and we thought there was going to be some sort of civil war or whatever. Anytime there is the beginning of hostilities between, it was just recently, right, with Israel and Hamas, right? Whenever you see that, the first thing out of these guys' mouth is, well, I guess that's the end of feminism. All these women want to just jump back in the kitchen. No, they don't. That doesn't, it just like they think that that's just like women just turn on a dime. Oh, well, looks like they're going to be like, she was a feminist yesterday. And now that the hostilities have started, she's baking bread. No, she's not. And she hasn't given up on any of that stuff. Granted, yes, feminism and gynocentrism is definitely a luxury belief. But it's not like they just change overnight.
On the other hand, if I must be the guy who always finds the dark cloud inside the silver lining, it's hard not to notice that right now she only appears to be excited about the fact that the guy paid for everything.
Is that not part of it? Like, here's the thing: is like, is that not? Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I know okay, opinion time. This is best practices. This is not ideology, not movement. This is not a declaration of the red pills. A red pill teaches this. In my estimate, I think that you should pay for a date. I think that that's establishing frame because it's best practices because it goes along with a lot of the stuff, a lot of the dots that are connected by the red pill. What will be the best practices? Well, in this case, if you're going to establish frame and you want that woman to like enter into your world, you better fucking have the world that you can pay for. You better have a world into which that woman wants to take part of. Clearly, the first boss here does, and absolutely Farrah does, much to Destiny's chagrin. But Matt, is that not what you traditional conservatives want from irresponsible men? To be more responsible and pick up the tab?
Yes, she's discovered a strange new respect for a guy's guy, as she calls him. But at this point, all of that respect...
What is that? Why do we like put an asterisk by that? Why do we highlight that part?
Respect is based around the fact that she didn't have to pay for her own food or drinks. If she is awakened...
It's almost like an appeal to the black pill.
...to the bleak realities of feminism, so far she has only noticed that feminism is expensive for women. And indeed, it is in just about every imaginable way.
Now, there's nothing wrong with a woman feeling impressed by and attracted to a man who can foot the bill without complaint. A man who appears to be financially stable and a good provider. I mean, this is raw biological programming.
And pretty much everything you have told guys, because I'll tell you this right now, the red pills are praxeology, but traditional conservatism is definitely a practice. Here's what you ought to do, guys, and if you don't, you're going to hell. Forget the guy's name. It was just at Turning Point USA. Or was it Turning Point USA? Yeah, Turning Point USA. Find yourself a wife, settle down, have children, have a good life, get a job. Like basic, bonehead, 20th century idealism. That's great. Thanks, Ward Cleaver. Is that not part of the plans? That's not part of the program? Why would this be in any way like groundbreaking or any ways contentious for you?
Women are naturally attracted to providers. They should be. It's healthy and good. If you're a woman, of course, you don't want a man who financially depends on you or asks you to go 50-50 on everything. She says at the beginning of the video that usually there's a negotiation about who pays, and she says, that's great. I like to pay for people.
We already covered that part, Matt. She doesn't like to pay for people. Look at her apartment, dude. Do you think she's paying for people? Remember, wait a minute. Remember what I said about background image, like visual interest? What does there's this book. We got that. Oh, we got it in a shopping cart. There's your subliminal. Hey, buy it. We've got the plague doctor's mask. I guess maybe that's a referral to the vaccine. 2020. What's that word? I don't know. Basketball. You play basketball. He's got a banjo. Clearly he's a musician, right? He's got a nice, what is that? The Smoky Mountains of Tennessee in the back. That might be, because I know that they're in Nashville. Yeah. I had to stop to point out the tchotchkes in the background there, because that tells the story about whoever is doing the show.
That's obviously nonsense. She doesn't like to pay. Not on behalf of a man, anyway. No woman.
She can't pay. I mean, unless she's doing OnlyFans. Clearly, but that's off the table according to Destiny of Farah, but
woman does.
Let's continue.
Okay, I mean, it's one thing if it's like a gift, if it's a present, if take him out for his birthday, but generally speaking, women don't like paying for a man as a general principle on a date.
Yeah, welcome to the red pill. We got that. Thanks. What gets me is you're gonna throw rocks at me or Ryan or go ahead and throw rocks at Pearl all you want. I know she's your plant anyways. Go ahead and take care of that. But the thing is like you can go and throw rocks at whatever podcast or the red pill and whatever. But you're just making the case for us, man.
But it's different for men. I actually do like paying whenever I'm out with my wife. I like buying her nice things. I like the feeling of providing.
Okay, let's stop there for 1 minute. Why? Why does that feel good? I don't know if I've asked Justin this question before. Like, why does it feel good to pay for a date, buy a girl a drink, buy girls things, simp, right? We're going to talk a little bit about simping today too, because I got a little quick hit on that. Why is it that simping is like a multi-bajillion-dollar industry? Why does it feel good for men to pay for things for women, to provide things for women, to do? Why is it I mean, intrinsically, there's a lot of guys who like in the black pill say, I would never pay for a woman. Screw that. She got to come to me. Well, first of all, black pill doomer guy, if you want to talk about like the other side of the flip side of feminism, that is right there. Oh, we're going to be 50-50 or she's going to come to me about, were you going to turn her a booty call? But you're essentially the practical, pragmatic reason to pay for a date, to provide for your woman, whatever, because it's on some level of like monkey hind brain, lizard brain level, limbic mentality. It feels good to say, because it's a reminder. I control this world. I am the one who can do this. I can lay down the money if I have to. I can buy, here's my card. Go buy what you want. Women love that, especially if it's a guy who's like really good looking and he's in control of his own world. He has frame. That's what frame is. There's a lot of freaking videos on what is frame. That's probably one of the most requested questions videos that I get over the years. And I have probably like 3 different videos on frame. I've done dozens of essays on this. The last time I covered frame was in the player's handbook, of course. Frame is the world that you have. Frame is the summation of what you have done. It's you want to talk about the burden of performance? Your burden of performance as a man is summed up in the frame you are able to maintain. So when you see all these weesh guys like, man bun dudes like Jason Baldini or whoever they're redirecting the traffic for this show to right now, the Good Man Project and all that stuff. Yeah, thanks Moonshot. Thanks Divert Hate. The guys that you're diverting my traffic to, those are guys who are the problem. Those are the guys who are weesh. Those are the guys that this chick goes, you know what? I don't want to have anything to do with man bun dude anymore. I want the guy who's in control of his freaking world. I want the guy who's in control of his frame. You'll hear, and by the way, that's the wokesy side of things. Now let's go look at the flip side of the actual flip side of the feminist coin, which is traditional conservatism. Pay for women. Facilitate their reality. Again, this comes back to a chapter in my first book. Women it's called Appreciation. That's actually the title of the chapter. Women fundamentally lack the capacity to appreciate the sacrifices that men have to make in order to facilitate their reality. That's all this dude did, was facilitate a reality that she just got the tingles for. Men like that. It establishes frame. It establishes the world into which that woman wants to come into. That's why I mean, there's a few things I'm going to like lock horns with Justin or even Mike or whatever else. One that I will never lock horns with them is the establishment of frame. People like guys will do it differently. You can do it like the fine Southern gentleman. That's certainly one route to it. Being able to, like, you could be the Andrew Tate guy, or maybe that's a bad example. You could be the guy who has a lot of money or man of means. People say, don't lead with your wallet. Okay, I agree with that. Don't lead with your wallet, but you still, your frame is money, muscles, and game. Those 3 make up your frame. It's health, wealth, and relationships. And by relationships, I don't just mean like your game talking with other women. It's also what are your networks? What are your networks with other guys? It's not just how you interact with women, which is, by the way, very important. That is the formal game. But it's also how well liked are you by other guys? Are you the man that other men want to be and other women want to fuck? That's the definition of a high value man. Thank you very much. Take that to the bank, children. He doesn't know what a high value. Come on now. It's December 2023. It's Christmas Eve. There you go. Don't lead with your wallet. You don't have to lead with your wallet. Don't wear nice. Also, don't lead with vulnerability. Don't lead with, I'm a male feminist. Don't lead with, don't explain why. If you have to explain why you should be attracted to this woman, if you have to, in some, whether it's with innuendo or subcommunications, if you are explaining, if you're explicating why that chick ought to suck your dick instead of demonstrating why she should be hot for you, that's where that's where you have to go back and those are the rudiments. That's like Red Pill 101. So why is this shocking to Matt? Because is this not what you tell guys? Men need to be more responsible. They need to go out there and they need to, sack up and go ask these girls out, and they need to go get married and they need to have babies and Like, does that not begin with paying for the fucking date?
For my wife and kids, that's a masculine thing. Men feel better about themselves when they're being masculine. So,
yeah, and they're also, again, it's demonstrating frame. It's demonstrating provisioning. It's demonstrating a control, having a world, Amused Mastery too. It could be that too as well. It's command presence. It's demonstrating command presence. I can do this for you. I'll tell you, the thing is the problem with that is like, oh, well, guys really feel good about that. I feel good. Yeah, it's only important to you because after a while, it's what you ought to do. This is where like women be like, yeah, that's what he should do. That's part of the operating system. That's like standard equipment. You should be paying for a date. You should be paying for your kids. It's like that Chris Rock routine, like I take care of my kids. Yeah, you're supposed to. I pay my bills. You're supposed to. But we don't understand that also, especially for a man and the burden of performance, your value is estimated by your performance level, right? Well, what's that measured by? Your demonstrable ability to pay for a date, your demonstrable ability to pay for the rent, to keep the lights on, to pay for the kids, to take them to a private school, whatever the fuck you want to call it. How you're going to redirect your resources. Yeah, I'm sure it feels really good because guys think that it's like this constant reminder. Look, I can take you to Paris, bitch. I can take you to Mykonos in Greece. We're going to go to Yacht Week. What other guy's going to be able to do that for you? Mike and Sterling, when we were on Saucecast, said something very similar to that. When Mike was talking about, being with Kylie, Mike Sartain is 46 years old and Kylie just turned 22. Okay. So there's a considerable amount of time between the two of them. And quite honestly, they are a very good fit. They're very good together. And this is Rollo Tomasi saying this. They are very, very compatible. Let's just say. Mike, of course, pays for damn near everything. There's no way that Kylie could live the lifestyle that she has. I mean, as well as being with Mike. Now, it helps that she's very attracted to Mike. She likes to have sex with him and other women. That helps as well. So they've got a very good thing going. So, but there's no way she would be able to live the kind of lifestyle she does right now were it not for Mike. Now, is she attracted to him? Does she want to get with him? Does she want to fuck him? Yes, absolutely. That's remember, it's the total package. It's a confluence of money, muscles, and game. It's his frame is like bulletproof, especially for a really good looking 22-year-old girl with boobs out to here, right? But she could not live that lifestyle were it not for Mike. She could probably find another sugar daddy, or she could probably go off, I'm sure she could find another, let's see, what do we want to call it? Sponsor. You ladies know what I'm talking about. Sponsor. You know what I'm saying. And I don't mean AA. He could, but I don't think she would be as invested emotionally, physically, and just like life-wise with somebody else, and would definitely be alpha widowed by Mike were things not to work out. But again, it's like when we were on Saucecast and we were talking about like the different, age differences and everything else. And I brought up the point that, the women love to say when they see an age gap like that, women just lose their fucking minds, right? Especially women who are like past the age of like, say, 32, 33. Men should be dating. He's robbing the cradle. They should be dating age appropriate women. Yeah, like her. What will they ever talk about? Well, guess what? A lot, apparently, because they're really good together. They have really good conversation. I've heard the conversation. I've been in the room. I know what it's about, right? She's not just some dumb, ditzy, big tit, model, swimsuit model. But women will say, well, you need someone who's your intellectual equal. But what are we going to solve Rubik's Cubes together or some shit like that? But that's the mentality he's thinking of here, in a sense that, like, well, you're leading with the wallet or whatever but is that not what you should do in the traditional conservative sense? Be responsible, be able to afford for a date, be able to pay for stuff. If it makes me feel good, yada, yada, yada. Is that not part of it?
That makes sense. Women don't enjoy the masculine role, even if they pretend they do. That's why the ones who like to pay will become giddy with excitement when they meet a man who relieves them of the burden of the thing that they allegedly enjoyed doing.
All right, time to rat someone out. I don't have permission to do this, though. So the reason why I use Farrah in the beginning, as sort of like a compliment to today's show, is it's very similar. Like, she meets the traditionally conservative guy. She's concerned, thinks she's going to lose. I mean, literally a 5-hour date. And she's worried that the guy's going to find out that she's on OnlyFans and he's going to be disgusted with her. Well, turns out it's all fine. It's okay. It's kind of hot, actually. If anything, I would think that would have been a turnoff to her, because now he's kind of like just sort of like waffling, let's just say, on his convictions. Right? Would that not be part of the attraction? A guy who's like uncompromising in his convictions and his ideology? Because if he's like very anti-porn and anti-OnlyFans and she has that, and then he's like, that's kind of hot. I don't know. I think that would be a strike against you, but I don't know. Apparently not with Farrah. Anyways, let's rat her out for a minute, though. So the whatever podcast that I was on with Justin Waller and Mike Sartain happened on May 7th of this year. May 8th, Farrah decides to slide into his DMs, Justin Waller, and wanted to plan some sort of like get together. Hey, let's show me the city. I'm just moving to Miami. Are you in Miami? I'm in Miami. And I'm going to tell you right now, after the conversation and after the bullshit that got thrown back and forth on the whatever podcast, especially that's being used on like the clips, the diced up clips now on Farrah's Instagram, for example. Trying to say, oh, well, Farrah really took Rollo to the cleaners. Well, no, in context, if you watch the whole fucking thing, you can see that I'm making a point here. In fact, she's just sort of admitting the fact that I was right about it in that interview with, or whatever, that talk with Destiny. But one of the things she doesn't bring up is the fact that she slid into Justin Waller's DMs and wanted to get with him or wanted to set up a date or what. I don't know. Did they? I don't know. Did they smash? I don't know. I do know 100% fact that she slid into his DMs. I have the screen caps for that. In fact, I have animated screen caps for that. And she knows I have animated screen caps of that. Now, I'm not going to post them on here because I don't want to rat out Justin Waller. And I'm not sure how he would want me to do that anyway. So I'm just going to hold off on doing that. But just, take my word for it. Anyways, so you have a woman who is already aroused by and attracted to a guy who looks like Justin Waller, who talks like Justin Waller, who is a fine Southern gentleman from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and knowing that he's got Izzos, Justin knows that. And nothing, more power to you, Justin. Do you. But don't give me this bullshit on whatever podcast about, oh, no, there's no way women would ever fall for anything like that. Well, would you like me to give you proof and an example of women doing exactly that? Especially the one that was sitting right across from me on the table at whatever podcast. I can do that. No problem.
So all of that is fine and normal. But here's where the rubber meets the road. She has discovered that she likes a masculine man because he pays for dinner. The question is...
Okay. Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit right now. She likes a masculine man because he pays for dinner. Guess what, Matt? To get to the point where he could pay for dinner means that she had to have been attracted to him beforehand. She had to be aroused by him. She had to be, maybe there's something interesting about this bro from Santa Monica. I don't usually go for guys like this. Well, you did. And she was hot enough for him to go on a date with the dude before he paid for a date, before he plunked down his card, before she, of course, he wants to make the case that she's a gold digger, right? Got it. Okay, thanks. Move on. But she had to find him attractive enough to go out with him in the first place before he could even pay for a fucking date.
Whether she will like and accept and respect the other aspects of masculinity.
Such as?
And will she be willing to play her part and be the feminine woman that a masculine man desires?
Thank you.
Does she want to select just this one single solitary aspect of traditional gender roles, the one aspect where she gets free stuff, and turn the rest of it away?
Cash and prizes? Welcome to the red pill, Matt.
Because this is how it very often goes with feminists.
Matt, I'm just going to throw this out here right now. You should come on Access Vegas. Because I think, not to take anything away from Brian, but I think our Mike and I's format on Access Vegas is probably a little bit more user-friendly in this case. But I would love to have this back and forth with him on Access Vegas. I would love for him to be the male guest on our panel show. And then, boy, would a revelation occur.
Of this sort. And it's why the swooning that they do over guys very quickly turns to anger and resentment. Because the moment they discover that gender roles aren't simply about getting free cocktails, things fall apart.
Yeah. So when he expects you to bake bread and cookies and make a nice shepherd's pie, oh Oh my God, he wants me to be a housefrau.
So, to put the question more bluntly for her, you want a man who pays, fine. But are you also willing to drop the feminist girl boss and be the...
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, sorry, Daily Wire. Why'd you have to do that, Daily Wire? I love that. I want to hear him swear.
Kind of woman that the man who pays actually wants. It's the season of giving, but you've already given enough.
All right, that's it. All right, I'm gonna pull. That's about it. He made his case here. There's more to this. If you want to watch this, it's on his channel. It's all of like 15 minutes long, I think. So let me pull that. He's gonna go into it. Now here's where the paid insert goes. So again, the later on, and I've got some other like some ancillary stuff to this. Let me throw this on here. So he started talking about what's interesting to me is like that video that he was talking about is kind of not what he got into on Twitter. Really, what got him into trouble in a hot water, such as it is, was what he was mouthing off about on Twitter. And I'm going to show you that in a second here. Did Matt Walsh ever see the movie 50 Shades of Grey? Probably not. But I know I would bet money his wife did. If she was part of the 65 million women who went to go see that at the top, went to see the movie or like read the book. But I would say maybe she's read the book. I don't know if she's seen the movie. The movie sucked, but everybody wanted to go see it. By the way, another stat I use in this book, religion, which, by the way, I'm going to talk about here in just a minute because there's a whole chapter in here about chivalry. Okay. Did he see that? No, but I will probably not, but I guarantee his wife did, or his wife's sisters did, or his wife's girlfriends did. In all likelihood, considering that demographic during that time, sure. I would say so. But like, again, why was 50 Shades of Grey so popular? Well, you have, look at the archetypes. First of all, it's like Twilight without the vampires. You have a guy who's like Bruce Wayne, right? He's a independently wealthy guy who gets off on BDSM or whatever it is, right? Christian Grey. Is that what his name is? Christian Grey? Anyways, thank you. No, HV. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. A high value woman wants knit flattered. Yeah, well, they don't get off on that. I can tell you that right now. Remember, Devil Mountain Coffee. They were out of restock, by the way. These are their K-cups. Why I brought that up, I don't know. But yeah. Wait a minute. Let's see. Do I have the banner still? There it is. I do have the ticker. There you go. Now you can do it. Here you go. There's your Devil Mountain. Devil Mountain, there's your plug. You can actually use the I have a code for Devil Mountain Coffee. Use what is it? RMS, the Rational Male Show. RMS in the code, you'll get 20% off of your order at Devil Mountain Coffee. They don't pay me, they just give me coffee. I like them because it's good shit. It is. You're right. How much caffeine? Would you like to know? The maximum allowed by law. Not kidding. That's why, like, you can even see this on the thing. It's the strongest coffee in the world. It will tell you that right there. By the way, stronger than Death Wish, too. You know who that is. It's not that I don't like Death Wish, too. Anyways, I like it. Black Rifle's good coffee, too. But you have to remember they're white labeled coffees. Tim Pool has coffee, for crying out loud. What Jeremy from the Quartering has coffee brand coffee. Original. I happen to like these guys because they're out of Las Vegas and they also have really good, strong black coffee that I like. By the way, I only drink my coffee black, just so you know. I like my coffee like I like my metal black. So, getting back to it, so the idea of women being aroused by a guy who is in that conservative mindset. That's like, is this not what you were hoping for? Isn't that not the part of the responsibility hustle that you've been talking about for a long time, Matt? Because it certainly sounds that way to me. Don't you want guys to have their shit together? Well, she seems like she's just a gold digger. Yeah. But she still had to get off on the fact that he took control of the whole situation. Well, if you look at so that's the first boss. The second boss, being fair, you have to remember that she had to have been attracted to this guy. Literally says, I fell in love with this guy in 5 hours in this date, right? And I didn't want to blow it with him by telling him I'm on OnlyFans. In fact, she was saying, I wanted to cancel my OnlyFans. She went so far as to pull OnlyFans out of her bio so the dude wouldn't see. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about genuine desire. Thank you, Farrah, for being the absolutely perfect example of women breaking rules for alphas and making rules for betas. Breaking a rule, taking the bio, OnlyFans bio off of her, OnlyFans off of her bio, I presume on Instagram or Twitter or wherever it was. So the guy doesn't think that she's on OnlyFans. Like, she went and did that. She adjusted her bio on the fly too, because she would have had to do that on the date, on the 5-hour date, on her cell phone. What are you doing? Oh, nothing. No, never mind. Go order a sandwich. That's some dedication. That's genuine desire. That's, I want to fuck this guy. I want to have babies with this guy. And what did I say, children? What did I say on air?
Hello there, children.
What did I say?
How's it going?
On whatever podcast? I said, what is it? What guy do you? I said this. Do you? I'm paraphrasing myself at this point. Do you, Farrah, think that being on OnlyFans would in some way inhibit your ability to find the guy that you would want to lose your virginity to, quote unquote, allegedly? Yeah, assuming that's the case, do you not think that being on OnlyFans would in some way hinder you from finding the guy that you might want to lock down? And here it is. Happened literally like a month and a half after the show. And I'm like sitting on her shoulder. I got you. Like a little devil Rollo and angel Rollo on the shoulders of Farrah, right? I live rent free in your head. And happily so. I'm glad. Yeah. Hopefully it's a good influence. Right? But there it is. Proof positive. Why do I have to plead my fucking case? That's how it works out. So don't complain and say, oh, well, we want men to be more responsible. And then say, well, women are gold. Of course they are. They want security. They want long-term security. Matt, your wife, when she met you, trust me, it wasn't like, oh, I'm so hot for him, I'm going to go and adjust my Instagram for him. She sees you as a freak. Well, sorry, not to put too fine a point on it, but she sees you as a guy who can have babies with and have long-term security with. I don't know if she's hot for you. That's on your bedroom. But most definitely, oh, well, we had a religious marriage. Fine. Good. If all that says to me is it just reinforces the fact that it's transactional. And that's what I wanted to get down to here is you'll notice that the first place he goes is a transactional understanding of sex, a transactional understanding of a relationship, because that's like from the sex to the relationship. What can she get out of it? Well, you know what? Your wife wanted to get babies out of it. Your wife wanted to get long-term security out of it. Your wife wanted you to be a, millionaire or whatever, influencer, whatever the fuck you do. The same impetus that Santa Monica girl has, the first boss, the blonde girl. Your wife's not any different. She wants that security. She wants that at least provisional masculinity. You can break it down. And again, the reason why this is in some way like shocking or novel or contentious for him is because it reminds conservatives that it is alpha fucks and beta bucks. It reminds them that it's not just about hypergamy just means marrying up. No, it doesn't. It means fucking up as well. That's why Farrah contacts Justin Waller right after the show. That's why Farrah takes off her freaking OnlyFans link off of her bio because she doesn't want him to think that she's fucking some other guys, right? Comes down to fucking. 9 times out of 10, if you go on any of these shows, if you have these, pretty much boils in, it distills down to this: who's fucking who? How come I'm not getting fucking laid? And how can I start getting laid? And how, let's see, how many people are you fucking? like that's where all of this starts. From there, we can get to, here's my card, let's have babies, everything else. But it's pretty much starts with those, 2 or 3 things. Everybody wants them. I don't see why that's like rocket fucking science for these guys, but that apparently it is. Apparently it's mate shifting, switching hypothesis and not dual mating strategy. Whenever we want to talk about hypergamy, it's just about who's the best the candidate for marriage. No, it's not. Would you like me to show you why it's not? Good. I'm glad you're interested to know. Here's why. Where is it? There we go. I didn't have it on tap. I should. Before I give you this epic buildup. Okay, here we go. Here's why. Right here.
Video, we are going to see how women react to a muscular man. This is pretty fun to watch. This is a clip from The Ellen Show, where a handsome guy walks in and takes off his shirt in front of the girls.
A lot like this.
Still think it's about provisioning capacity? Let's continue.
The reaction of the girls says it all. Okay, this is...
You know what's funny? It's like, you're going to like give Myron and Fresh or Brian or us on Access Vegas, you're going to give us shit for having panel shows, but this is like commercial TV.
This is a fun clip. Again, we have girls reacting to Michael B. Jordan. In this case, Tessa Thompson talks about 3 things that come to her mind when she sees Michael.
The words that are coming to me are really weird, like biceps. It's just sometimes you can see his biceps.
Don't skip arm day, guys. Chris Evans must have worked hard to get in shape for this movie, and Ellen doesn't let it go unnoticed to show a picture to her audience, while Scarlett Johansson was completely shocked.
True or false? Yeah, he looks weak. How he
Yes.
I'll take it.
All right.
Yes.
That's great. That was a fun game. I've
Look
enjoyed
at you,
it.
my God, you're a beast.
I know.
Magic.
Look at that.
Yes, Scarlett, Captain America is a beast. Here's The Rock being interviewed for his new 2017 movie, Baywatch. When the girl interviewing him asks him if he can move his pecs, the girl's reaction says it all.
Show me some of your slow-mo looks.
Oh, I like the slow-mo because you made the chest
Oh, it's too much.
That's too much. Yeah, it's too much. Too much.
Let's continue now with the next clip. Chris Hemsworth has done it again, causing viewers to rave as he showed an image of the tremendous physical transformation on the Kelly and Ryan show.
You're in better and better shape.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really.
We have photo evidence of
By the way, that's the right answer.
the results of all of the chasing of the kids right there. So that, I mean, that...
There's a muscle.
There's a new muscle.
There's a muscle, but you have a muscle I've never seen before.
Let's continue now with the next clip, with Alexandra Daddario and Zac Efron. While doing their daily workouts at the gym, Alexandra is trying to drop hints to Zac here to head to the sauna together.
Let's step it up. How many do you think you can do?
I think I could do 40.
Think you can do 40?
I think I could do 40 in a row.
If I can do 40, then I'll do the cryo sauna at the end with you.
You'll get in the cryo sauna with me?
Not at the same time.
Who is the sexiest man alive of 2017? Here's the answer, as the public goes wild.
The sexiest man alive of 2016 is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
So why is The Rock number one?
I mean, look at those muscles. How could we not choose him this year?
Yeah, the one and only.
Get the point? Shall I continue? It's actually a pretty good video. Who else do they have on here? Avengers. Who else? Michael B. Jordan. I hate that they just use like celebrities because they probably could have. He probably could have pulled like clips from other people. Who's this guy? Oh, that'd be well. Okay, so that's Zac Efron. Anyways, you get the point. By the way, this whole video. I'm not going to show this whole video to you. This whole video is essentially like female reaction to guys with really great bonds. And they're all on. Who put this up there? Somebody put that. Oh, these guys are all on steroids. Do you think they're all on gear? I don't think they're all on gear. I don't think Chris Evans is on gear. He might have been before. Do you think Chris Hemsworth? Do you think he's on gear? Do you think he did gear at some point? The Rock did gear. Yes, probably at some point. Allegedly. I can't say he did or not because I don't want to get sued. But most likely. I mean, the guy was a professional wrestler before he was The Rock. I guess he was. Yeah, TRT or Trent. Thank you. Thank you, my wonderful my new magician's assistant. People give me shit, man. They were seeing the pictures in the like I was at Wet Republic, and I was just like, Corey. Corey is Mike's videographer / photographer. He's like at all of his events. He had caught a couple of good shots of me and he sent them to me. And I was like, damn, that's great. I put them up there. People were like, what are you on, trend? Why do I gotta be on trend? I am on TRT and I work out. I know I work out at Powerhouse Gym in Las Vegas as well. I know Hide Yamagishi. There's that video so you can see what I do. Can I not own this? Can I please? Like, just give me one thing. But it's true, you know, and that's the alpha fuck side of the whole thing. So if you're going to just focus on like the one thing that really just rubs me the wrong way with like guys like Jordan Peterson, always with Jordan Peterson, but like all these other guys who are coming out of the woodwork who want to say, oh, here's some stats about how women only marry blah, 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 blah. They only marry these guys, or, you know, they settle down with guys who are They settle down with guys who are of the same socioeconomic class as they are. They do this. And I'm like, yeah, but who are they fucking, man? Who are they fucking between 18 and 28? And by the way, I got new stats on this. Average partner count, according to the last stats that I have, is about 14.8, I think is what it was. Mike sent me an updated data on body count, average body count. I think I might have put some of them up on, I think I might have used those stats already once before. But, okay, so the thing that gets me is guys like I hope maybe this is the beginning of a great thing, a new thing, a beautiful thing for you, Matt Walsh, coming over to the red pill side of things. We have cookies on the dark side. I don't think that's happening. I think this was just a convenient thing. Like he wanted to say, well, you know, these women, they think that conventional masculinity is just you get free stuff, cash and prizes. Well, for basically, yeah, basically, but it's more than that. It's also masculine dominance. It's also attitude. It's also frame. It's also being treated like you're on a date. You're actually on a date. It's not about egalitarian equalism. It's not about, I have an equal partner, which is why I put that clip in. I have an equal partner. No, you don't have an equal partner. Your partner does shit that you like men are the sacrificial sex. Women are the vulnerable sex. Men, people say the disposable sex. I don't want to get that negative. I don't think men are necessarily the disposable sex, although I can see why you would say that, but they're most definitely the sacrificial sex. Men have to we base our respectability of a man based on his burden of performance and how well he is, like what he's done. What are your achievements? How have you done? Have you maximized your potential? I don't think that that's rocket science, right? Well, guess what? Once you get to that point of maximizing your potential, suddenly you become a little bit more attractive, and suddenly maybe you can actually give some, I don't know, some blonde former feminist your card to order drinks. Maybe that's a flex. Do you think that was a flex? I think that was probably a flex. Do you think that the guy who was, well, he probably knows it now, but do you think that the guy she was on the date with knew that she was really kind of like this really super feminist chick who wouldn't normally go out with him, but took a chance, got hot for him and then went out with him? Do you think he knew that? Because I think he did. And honestly, I think handing over a card or something like that or being whatever, that's a flex. And let me state for the record, yes, I saw that part too. Thank you. Peggy Carter wasn't interested in until Captain America got muscles. That's why she did that. I heard, now this is hearsay, counselor, but I heard that she did the chest touch. That wasn't in the script for the initial Captain America. They left it in, obviously. She got jealous when another girl kissed him and shot at him. She would have if she wouldn't have if he was still weedy. Yep. So with that in mind, when we see Captain America gets shot up with the super sauce, the super gear, goes into the super chamber and pops out with some all yoked, right, overnight, but still has the mentality of the former weedy, weesh, wimpy Captain America, but he's a good guy, right? Now he's a beta male in an alpha male's body. That is a classic fantasy, by the way, for well, certainly back during the golden era of comics, it certainly was. But here you have a guy who just overnight goes into the super chamber and comes out, and now he's Captain America. And now chicks want to touch his chest, and now they want to get down with him. Yeah, because it's alpha fucks, beta bucks. And the alpha fuck side, Matt, Jordan Peterson, Mac and Murphy, date psych dude, whoever else, Chris Williamson. Chris Williamson would not be as popular on his show if he was like obese. He would not be popular if he would not have the same show if he was 40 pounds overweight. If he was like, go look at Chris Williamson's banner across his YouTube channel. Like he's basically doing like the most muscular flex. Like he's doing one of these things, and he definitely does a lot of work. Respect the hustle, respect the work. But dude, would not be the Chris Williamson were he not in shape. So cut the shit. Please cut the shit. When we want to talk about how the litmus test is long-term security, long-term relationships, marriage, if that's your formalization of it, long-term fulfillment of women's security needs, women's long-term, like I need babies, I need provisioning, protection, and parental investment. You don't get there without the alpha fuck side first. You don't get into that. Like not in an idealized sense anyways. So can we please, Lord in heaven above, acknowledge that hypergamy doesn't just apply to marrying up the socioeconomic ladder. It's also about fucking up the physicality ladder as well, as we've seen with all the women on Ellen and The View and God knows whatever show else. Can we please cut the shit and get down to brass tacks? No, we can't, because that's an unflattering aspect of female nature. So just showing that, like, oh, but see, women will laugh and that they'll go, you go, girl, kind of thing. Oh, look, Chris Evans. They'll laugh at that and they'll make like, why are you so insecure? Why are you so intimidated? I'm not. I'm pointing out the obvious. So can we at least cut the shit about how hypergamy is only about marrying up? It's not. There is short-term sexual and there is long-term security. Alpha fucks, beta bucks, alpha seed, beta need. They are not the same things. I also want to point out this. Now, there's an essay that I think it might be a little bit long-winded, so I don't think I'm going to read it directly to you, but there was an essay on Roissy, Roissy. It is now heartiste.org, HEARTISTE.org. All of his archives are on there. One of those great seminal posts by Roissy was the first of all, it's the House of Cards post, which is like women who have these standards. If you see how they say, oh, I want a guy who's 6 feet tall, he's got to have six-pack abs, he's got to have this, he's got to have that, he's got to love his mom, like down the 436 bullet point checklist, which, by the way, Roissy coined that. And then you see who they date, and they might have checked off 4 of this big multiple, dozen or so prerequisites. And then they'll say, we're working on the rest. That's number one. But the other part of it is the fact that provisioning, protection, and parental investment is separate from alpha fucks. You want to know why people want to throw rocks at dual mating right now? Because they simply do not want to recognize the fact that women love Chris Evans. Women want to fuck Chris Hemsworth. Women want to fuck Michael B. Jordan. Women want to fuck a guy like that looked like the model that ripped off his shirt. They want to. Can we please acknowledge that instead of saying, well, the litmus test, the way we're going to start, the way we rank men and women, the way we're going to have like where it's a sort of mating or hypergamous mating, it's only about who's marrying who. The seminal post that was on Roissy's channel was this. It says, who's our cads, like alphas, are cads out banging dads. Because what will happen is you'll get these guys who will fall into the idea that long-term security and marriage and everything else and starting a family and having babies, and that's like the ultimate goal. Okay, I can agree with you on that in the long term. But people say, so people will use that and they go, see, beta males are winning the reproductive arms race. No, they're not. Because if you took away hormonal birth control, you might have a case. If you took away on-demand abortion, you might have a case. If you took away the ability to fuck and not get pregnant, then I might agree with you. But we don't. And ever since the sexual revolution, thank you, Mary Louise, whatever Perry, whatever the fuck your name is, this is what you need to be focusing on the next, I don't know, TED talk that you give. Ever since in the post-sexual revolution world, because of the fact that we have this at least, sort of background subroutine running in the back of women's minds that they can take the pill and not have to worry about getting pregnant. What is women's sexual strategy under those conditions? Now, if you want to go and point and say, well, women got in the workplace, they got a rise in divorce, all this other stuff, all these horrible degenerate things that we talk about in 2023 that all started back in like 1965, 1970, 71, somewhere in there. We can trace that all the way back to the sexual revolution. But what happened? Why did the sexual revolution even start? Because women could have sex without getting pregnant. So what happens when you put that level of control over reproduction in the hands of women? This is what you get. This is where we are. 2023. You get the red pill. Oh, it's feminism of the 1970s, like the late 60s, early 70s. Stop it. That's gone. Gloria Steinem, Betty Friedan, that's all. It's like a fart in the wind. But we still cling to all that rhetoric. We still cling to all that bullshit. We still cling to, like, women don't even know where they're getting it from, and they still repeat it. So why is that? Why are we at where we're at? Well, because we are now like in the 60th year or ish of a humanity, the human state, that we can have casual sex. So what happens? Again, going back to Royce's blog post, which is called "Are Dads Out Banging Cads?" or whatever, vice versa. And the point was this, is there was a lot of people who were saying, well, women want to fuck those guys, but they marry the beta males. They marry the guys who are the good bets for the future. They marry the guys who take care of the guys who can afford to pay for a date. They marry the guys who take care of their shit. And that might be because those guys, primarily 80% of them, are beta males looking for a workaround so that they can finally get fucked. Because remember, it comes down to getting laid. And so what happens is when they get to, 29, 30, 31 years old, because let's be honest, the average age of first marriage in the United States for men is 31, 32. I think it's 32. For women, it's 30. Thank you, James Sexton, for updating my numbers. That's how long people wait to get married, to formalize monogamy. Now we have there's a lot of social stuff. There's a lot of psychology stuff. There's a lot of stuff that goes along with that as well. But why do you think that is? Why is the average age of first marriage? I mean, it's like unheard of. How did we get to that point? Because we have hormonal birth control that allows for it. That's why. So what happens if we have a sexual marketplace that is by women and for women, defined by women, what does it look like? Well, it looks like where we're at right now in the 21st century. That's what it looks like. So when Matt Walsh is just dumbfounded by the fact that a feminist woman would want to get with a conservative guy, then it's like this come to Jesus moment where the prodigal daughter returneth. And he's right about this. The conservatives pat themselves on the back and like, see, we were right all along. She should have been a conservative woman from the start. Think of how we could have just avoided all this stuff if she would have just, woke up and wised up and fucked guys who have credit cards and can pay for dates. Right? But he fixates on the money. He fixates on, well, it sounds like she's really a gold digger. Now, and that might be true, but the fact is you're still telling guys to have resources, to be responsible, to be the guy who can do that. Are you going to get rolled by a girl who might be a gold digger? Probably, because you guys have been throwing rocks at the red pill, the other side of all of this, for a long time. So don't get too surprised and too shocked by gold digging women or whatever the hell it is. Now, the other part of this is he got into a lot of hot water with this, and I wanted to show you. Let's see, is it this one? Oh, Jeremy Boring. Of course, everybody from the Daily Wire has to chime in about this. Megyn Kelly from Fox, or formerly of Fox News, decided to chime in on this as well. Let's see what Megyn Kelly had to say. Here we go. Oh, there's this, oh, Jesus. There's this, oh, I didn't even realize this. There's this whole back and forth between Matt Walsh and Megyn Kelly. Oh, this is so good. God, this is so good. Gosh, I have to, there's so many layers to this thing. It's like the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon or some shit here. Okay, so I'm just going to see if I can start it right here. Where'd it go? Sorry, I have to show you Twitter. I think this is it. Yeah. Okay, here we go. So this is the exchange between, let's see if I can put this up. Okay, so he's talking about that original video. Got it. She's impressed that the guy paid, which is fine. Women are naturally attracted to providers. They're naturally aroused by Chris Hemsworth and Chris Evans, okay? Attraction and arousal are two different things. Once again, here's the red pill spelling things out for you, Matt. We could clarify all of this if you just come to Vegas, my friend. But if she likes this aspect of traditional masculinity, she has to accept the rest of it and be willing to play her part and be traditionally feminine. I agree. Okay. That's where things usually break down for feminists. Got it. Okay. So then he goes on and prattles on a little bit more. You like a man who pays? Of course you do. But you are willing to drop the feminist girl boss bullshit. Yeah, thank you. That's the Matt Walsh I want to see. And be the kind of woman that the man who pays actually wants. That's the question. So again, the reason why he's like fixated on all of this, and I'm gonna back up to Megyn Kelly's response to this, but the reason why he's all fixated on this is because Matt Walsh can't get his head out of transactional sex. That's why. Well, she's only after you for your money. She only wants to play conservative because she gets the benefits of a guy who's got a freaking, I don't know, gold card or black card from whatever. He's got a membership to Costco. Like that, because he's fixated on the beta buck side of hypergamy. That's the only thing that matters. Well, she only just wants the benefits of a conservative, conventionally masculine guy because he's a man of affluence and means. It doesn't even enter into his mind that maybe the guy's hot and she wants to fuck the guy, just like all those women on The View and all those women on Ellen and all those women in the video showing the responses. Hot guys, hot, HAWT. Maybe she wants to fuck, and a guy who is gonna like take control in the bedroom too. Where's that? Where's that analysis, Matt? Nowhere. Because all you're doing is fixating on transactional sex. The only thing we want to talk about when we talk about like how guys like lead with their wallets or lead with their money or their cars or what, here's a like maybe that was a flex like he gives them the card. When you talk about that, those guys who that's their initial response, those are the dudes who have only ever had, or their only frame of reference with women is transaction. She only wants me for my money. Not only, I mean, maybe she wants to fuck you. Maybe you actually look pretty good and she's like aroused by you too, but you don't think of that. And that's why Matt can't really get his head out of the transactional nature of sex, because he thinks she won't reciprocate. There won't be a tit for tat. I mean that figuratively. There won't be a balance. Like, remember we were talking about like simping. Here's what simping really is. I'm gonna show you a video here. Actually, you know what? I think I'll pull it right now. Well, actually, let me go through these first. Here. Let's get that. And then, because boy, do I ever have a good one for you. Okay, so she's impressed that the guy paid, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so now you got Megyn Kelly jumps into the fray. Actually, no, she doesn't. She can find a man who pays and also gets completely hot for a working wife who doesn't cook or behave like any sort of traditional wife. Really? Sure about that? because Megyn Kelly divorced the first husband that she was with to get with a dude who was way more alpha. You go look it up. Go look up what her first husband was about and what her second husband was about. Okay. She's impressed. Okay. So here's Megyn Kelly. And by the way, Megyn Kelly, conservative. Megyn Kelly wants to front for the sisterhood, wants to front for egalitarian, the equal partnership that we talked about in the very first of this show today, and in the that one video clip that I put out. It doesn't sound like an equal partnership to me, but that's even conservative Megyn Kelly. Why don't we have Gretchen Carlson on there too? Why don't they have, I mean, hell, why don't you even Lauren Chen chimes in here too. What does Lauren Chen have to say? The man pays, but she also works. So his money is for them both, but hers is only for herself. Also, I don't think any man wants a woman who doesn't cook. Jesus Christ, there it is again. Since cooking is a basic skill. You know, we don't live in Little House on the fucking Prairie anymore, okay? If she can cook, awesome. Freaking icing on the cake. Why is that like the thing? She cleans and she cooks. You're supposed to. Remember what we said? You know, like, oh, I go out and I take care of my kids and I make money and I take them to soccer. You're supposed to. I cook. That's a rarity in men, women today. No, it's not. Go to fucking, if you think it is, go get HelloFresh and learn how to, the service, right? Go get a subscribership to HelloFresh and you'll learn how to cook. Are you really? No, but maybe it'll get you on the right track anyways. I love it. Then, of course, my best friend in the world, Aubrey Huff. This is a woman's brain that has overdosed on delusion. Thank you, Aubrey. By the way, Aubrey Huff going to be on Access Vegas this year, January probably. Okay, let's keep going, Megyn. Oh, so here's Matt Walsh responding. Where do we go? Let me put that up again. There we go. Here it is. Why should the man play the traditional masculine role for paying for the meals if the woman is not going to play the traditional feminine role in return? Where is the reciprocation? And again, to follow this up, Matt Walsh says, this shouldn't even be controversial. A woman who accepts gender roles when she can get a free meal out of it, but then rejects them in every other context is being self-centered and inconsistent, and that's to put it gently. Okay, now we got to go back to the Farrah interview. Do you think that Farrah cooks? Does she make lamajun? Because I want some. Is she a great Mediterranean? Does she make gyros? What does she make? Mediterranean? I don't know what is she from Iran? I don't know. Does she cook? Does she look like kind of girl who cooks? Does the blonde girl, does she look like she's there with fucking cereal? She's literally eating like Captain Crunch while she's doing the video. Do you think she cooks? No, she doesn't. Probably not. You'd be lucky to get Cinnamon Toast Crunch out of her. I'm not trying to come up with like kids cereals in my head. Is that still a thing? But yeah, probably not. But you know what? Maybe it's a step in the right direction. Perhaps. But what Matt is getting after here is a concept called conditional femininity. And Megyn Kelly, in her responses here, and to a lesser degree, even Lauren Chen, are bringing this up. I will only begin to be feminine once you prove to me your quality, once you prove your burden of performance, once you are the guy with the credit card, then maybe I'll turn into a feminine chick. You as a man have to be marriageable before I will even consider thinking of making myself into a feminine woman. I talked about this on, I think it was with, it was on Fresh and Fit. I saw this thing on Fresh and Fit and it was video, and I really need to go back through my archives because I think I might have saved this. But it was a real brief clip, and it was a black couple. It was a black woman and a black man. And the guy has this conversation with this woman who I guess is going to be his fiance, or like potentially be his fiance. And I don't know if it was a skit or a bit or as part of a movie or something like that. But the guy was talking to the woman. And he's like having this conversation. He's confused. Like, sort something out for me here, baby. I have to be the best version of myself. I have to be the guy who you would want to marry in order for you to even consider changing yourself into someone who would be marriageable after the fact. I have to go and put a ring on your finger before you will become feminine, before you will have some sort of like, prove to me that you have some sort of value added beyond your pussy and your mouth and your ass. Maybe. Prove to me that you're not just a series of holes. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to submit. I'm not going to be vulnerable. I'm not going to trust you, essentially, until you can prove to me that you're the guy with the credit card. You're the guy who pays for the dates. You're the guy who's going to open the door for me, be chivalrous, right? That's you. That's conditional femininity. And it is rampant today, certainly in Gen Z, definitely in the latter half of the millennial generation. I won't be what you want me to be until you can prove to me, mister, that you're marriageable, to the point where you've already got to commit to me. You have to commit to the potential that I could turn into a submissive, wonderful, feminine trad wife. And I don't have to do anything because I'm being prudent. I don't want to get with a guy who's trying to trick me. That's conditional femininity, and it's exactly what Megyn Kelly is talking about right here. And also what to some degree, I think Matt Walsh is as well. So if we let me put me back in. Actually, no, she doesn't. She can find it. See, here's the thing is that women want this ability to have their cake and eat it too. And this is going to come down to the chivalry. Now we're going to get into chivalry here right at the end. Okay. Just throwing that out there for you. Let's see. Torsh's just now asking me why Ned had surgery. Really? Come on, man. Catch up. Try to keep up with me. So anyways, there's actually more to this, but wait, there's more. Here we go. Megyn Kelly fires back. It's not about role playing. It's about who you are and what attracts you. Like a credit card. The message that in order to get a man who wants to take care of you, you have to be a trad wife is not true. This is exactly what that scenario, what that skit was with the black guy and the other woman. I have to be a guy who has my shit together. I have to be elite level value before you will consider being a trad wife. Some guys, there it is, as your Fox News, some guys want the fire and excitement of a working wife. Yeah, they do. They're just not the guys that this chick was going out with. They're not the guy that Farrah fell in love with on a 5-hour date. Trust me, we bring plenty to the table that would be very appealing to many, not all men, because those are the guys those the out group, right? And lots of those men would still want to take care of us, protect us, and marry us. It's awesome. So essentially what you're saying, see if I got this clear, Megyn Kelly. Essentially what you're saying is that you got guys who will be happy to be the sacrificial guy to protect you, provide for you, and do all this stuff, but expect nothing in return, no reciprocation, no nothing. There might be one rare bird. There might be one rare guy who would do that. Women don't want to have anything to do with them. Women cannot. Sorry, turd flinging monkey. Women cannot look up to a guy who is her equal. And they sure as shit can't look up to a guy who is her equal, who is above her, who pretends he's below her, which is exactly the scenario she's talking about right here. Don't worry. I'm Jesus Christ. I will give and give and give, and I expect nothing in return. All my grace is free. What fucking planet do you live on, Megyn Kelly? I hate to go all Machiavelli on you, but where do we live? Because it ain't planet Earth. I can tell you that right now. And then, okay, of course, male feminist Chris Wright has to drop in here. Matt's desire to force rigid traditional gender roles onto people because of their sex massively fuels gender ideology and is causing many gender nonconforming kids, especially girls, to attempt to opt out of these traditional roles via cross-sex hormones. So now, welcome, Matt Walsh. Welcome, brother, to my fucking world where people take you entirely out of context and suddenly you're into, oh, I don't know, hormone of gender affirming surgeries and hormone, blockers. Now, after this is only 2 exchanges. This guy's talking about like, oh, it must be, this attitude that Matt has. That's what's leading to gay frogs and transgender children. Really? Welcome to my world, Matt. You know what, Matt? Welcome to the red pill. Come on over. I'll help you out. I'll show you around. But wait, there's more. Jeremy Boring decides to throw his hat in the ring. Here we go. The prerequisite for being worthy of a good man is being a good woman. God, the container word, and vice versa. Many stay-at-home housewives are not good women. Oh, Jesus. Many women with careers are. You can vice versa that one too. Then why are you even chiming in if it's all relative? Because I was under the impression that sort of factual absolutism or factual, beliefs. Like, what is it? It's moral absolutism was the sort of the foundation of traditional conservatism. And yet here we will look at these. Jeremy Boring, by the way, the other partner in the Daily Wire. There's Shapiro, and then there's Jeremy Boring. These are the guys that pulled strings, that pay for shit at Daily Wire. Okay, Jeremy Boring's one of them. He's one of the founding partners. Okay. Many stay-at-home moms, at-home housewives are not good women. Many women with careers are. You can vice versa that one too. Being a good man is different than being a good woman. There is overlap of course, but men and women are different. Jesus, thank you for at least clarifying that, Jeremy. God knows this is because he isn't the New York Times, and so he describes our proper roles in marriage differently. Men are to lead with love and grace. Thank you. Right out of the Bible. Okay. Which is difficult for men who tend to naturally avoid responsibility, like to play Xbox. Jesus, man. How many tropes are we going to fit into one tweet? Women are to serve and honor, which is difficult for women who tend to naturally crave responsibility and like to make lists with multicolored highlighters. This is very oddly specific, Jeremy. I'm just going to leave it at that. Both have to give something up and work to become something new. That's why marriage is a duty, not a pastime. This is a mystery, of course, and the work of a lifetime, but it's what truly matters in a marriage. How you divide the chores isn't the issue. Au contraire. It's absolutely the issue. Because chore play is bullshit. Whenever chore play comes around, which is the concept of chore play is that if men did more around the house and did more chores and they took the burden off of the little ladies, she'd want to suck his dick more. She'd want to have sex with him more. No. And that has been a trope and a bullshit propaganda lie since as far back as 2007. I know, I got the essays to prove it. I've been talking about chore play forever. It's in I think it's in my second book, I think is where I put chore play. Chore play is the idea that if you do more chores, you change the diapers, you do the dishes, whatever it is, that women are going to want to get with you that much more. And it doesn't matter that there's a gender dimorphic division of labor. Well, guess what? They find out later on through like surveys and studies and research, whatever, that it's not actually arousing for a woman to watch her man in an apron washing dishes and changing the baby and vacuuming the house and doing all the traditionally female jobs, whatever you want to call those. But you know what does turn them on? Chopping wood in the backyard, mowing lawn with your shirt off, assuming you look like Chris Evans, changing the oil, taking care of the outside of the house, doing masculine jobs around the house and making sure shit gets done. Suddenly, now chore play is not about domestic stuff inside the house. It's about shit outside the house. So why would that be? Maybe there's some sort of natural, innate, evolved proclivity for women to get tingles when they see their man chopping wood outside. Maybe that's how it is. So yes, Jeremy, it does matter what the job is, because there's a whether it's in the lizard brain or it's in their peripheral awareness, whatever it is, seeing a guy with an apron on washing dishes, put him in what else? Folding laundry, doing what would traditionally be, or let's just say stereotypically be, what women would June Cleaver would do. Those things. Oh, you're going to go take care of the baby's hair. Like, remember when we were talking about the equal partner? That guy was, oh, he does this. He takes a kid to soccer practice. He does their homework with them. He does all this. Like yada, 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 yada. All those things that she was saying. I have an equal partnership. She doesn't have an equal partnership. She knows it. That's why it's like being sarcastic in the video. But all of those things, all the stuff that is necessarily a male or female specific job of whatever it is, the things that are mostly attributable to female work, that's not a turn on, man. It's not, Jeremy. But here's Jeremy trying to be the great diplomat here. He's trying to like step in here and like be the voice of reason and all this. And the fact is like guys like Jeremy who step in and they try to like be the peacemaker in this shit, they get raked over the coals because it's not enough. Megyn Kelly don't care about Jeremy Boring. Trust me on that one. Now, let's keep going. There's a little bit more here. Here we go. Matt Walsh says chivalry and feminism can't coexist. Chivalry is the combination of qualities expected of an ideal knight, especially courage, honor, courtesy, justice, and readiness to help the weak. If your chivalry is dependent on something other than yourself, it's fake. Okay. I'm going to get into chivalry here at the very end of all this good stuff. But before we do, oops, that's my bookmarks. Before we do, let's see. Oh, by the way, wait, we got to keep going. There's one more here. I would be remiss if I didn't throw this on here as well. Man, I've got to most of my stuff today. I'm actually being pretty tight with my time and my coverage here. Okay, once again, Matt, what we learned from the backlash against me today, your poor Matt, is that, Matt, consider yourself lucky. I'm serious, Matt. Boy, yeah, you being run up the flagpole. Count yourself fortunate. You're not on Moonshot or Divert Hate or the DHS or some NGO watch list after posting this stuff. You are comfortably safe in your fame. Trust me on this one. Be glad that some NGO hasn't convinced Elon Musk or the higher ups at YouTube to divert your traffic to, I don't know, the Good Man Project, or I don't know, Justin Baldini's what is it, Man Enough shit, some man bun site. Just count your blessings there, Matt. What we learned from the backlash against me today is that plenty of people really do believe that women should be able to have both feminism and chivalry with no compromise between the two and no additional responsibilities of any kind. This is childish, magical thinking fueled by unbridled narcissism. Embarrassing. No, it's not fueled by, and I'm like, welcome to the red pill. Not necessarily, Matt. And I'll tell you why. Because, get rid of that. And get rid of Jeremy Boring. There we go. All right. So they're out. Now, here's the deal. No, Matt, because that's not what chivalry has ever been about. And it's not what it's going to be about. I wrote about it quite extensively in this, and I'm going to read a little section of this for you here as soon as I show you this one video. Because what you're really on about, and what Jeremy Boring can't get through his thick trad skull, is he's never going to be able to make peace with someone like Megyn Kelly, because Megyn Kelly can't let go of the reins. Oh, well, that's just how she is. She's just a dominant person. She's just an alpha female. No, she was trained over the course of a lifetime to be like that. And you know what? You want to know what the primary problem? You want to know why this video with the blonde chick who's just having this revelation about how great trad guys are? You know why that's like novel? You know why that's exceptional? We highlight this and we'll have this big, gigantic Twitter war over it. Is because for generations, women just like this have been taught one very simple fact. Men are untrustworthy. You can't trust them for shit. They are either Homer Simpson, They are like big buffoons. They are Dr. Huxtable. They're Homer Simpson. Everybody loves Raymond. Whatever, choose your whatever sitcom you want, where the dad is big doofy dad, and mom is a genius, but she's kind of got the folksy genius. She's wise, right? And so she saves him from himself. Oh, dad's gonna jump off the roof for some reason, but mom has to step in and intervene before he he has a concussion or some shit like that. Women have to save that guy from himself. You can't trust this guy. He's an idiot. He'll give away the baby for a nudie magazine in the 6-pack. You can't trust him with a child, right? It's that dumb doofy dad archetype. Then there's the guy who's the borderline abuser. The guy who's like, well, we can't trust this guy. He's hot, but he's very domineering. He's very possessive. He's a Tinder swindler, right? He's got dark triad traits. He's hot as hell, but you can't trust him. He'll make you take out bad loans. You want to talk about Findom? Women do not have the record on Findom. You know who does? That dude for the Tinder swindler. Tinder swindler owns women in financial domination. Trust me, that's his racket. He wins the Findom game. Financial domination, right? So you got the guy who's the borderline abuser who might end up, leaving you. You can't consolidate him. You can't trust him because he might go fuck your best friend. Or he's the guy who you put all your hope and dreams and you trust him and he's a good investment. And suddenly when he makes partner in the law firm, he starts banging his secretary. He divorces you. And now he's with his trophy wife. That's another stereotype of the bad guy, right? Of the abuser, a potential abuser guy. Just can't trust him. Got to have some insurance, girl. Got to make sure you got the bag. You got to, you can't, men will take you for a ride. Trust me. I know this is going to happen. And then you've got the guy, this is more of a recent stereotype, which is the guy who's the incompetent guy. This is really more like, I don't know, latter half of the millennials on all of Gen Z is the guys who can't drive a stick, the guys who don't know how to do their own plumbing, the guys who don't know how to do anything around the house, the guys who can't tie a tie, right? Like basic shit like that the conservative guy has been doing for half of his life, right? He's the incompetent dude who can't change a tire. And so what does he do? He either has to find somebody to do it, like he has to pay somebody to do it, or he's got to learn it himself. And that process is a big turnoff for women. So you've got a guy who's incompetent, a borderline abuser, and then you've got Homer Simpson, the doofy dad. You can't trust any of them. And this has been the case really since the maybe the early 70s, right? Don't trust men. You've got to get the bag, girl. It's not about female empowerment. It's about female insurances. You have to have a job. Why? Because you don't know when that guy's going to run off with his hot blonde secretary with the big tits and the blue eyes. That fear, that existential fear of a loss of investment. You gave up your 20s. You gave up half of your 30s for this guy. And look, he's with a hot, trophy wife now. You can't trust men. It's this untrustworthiness. You want to know why women are in the position that they're in? And you've heard me say this before, but everybody seems to be talking about this shit right now, especially like women who are supposed to be dating coaches and they're female, like Sadia, whatever the fuck her name is. Like they'll talk about like, oh, here's why women aren't going to get married in the future. Here's why women are sad, or here's why the dating situation is what it is. No, you know what it is? It's from 60 plus years of gynocentrism and feminism teaching women that they can't trust men. That's why you get a Megyn Kelly. That's why you get women who can't like give it up. That's why the women who don't have the insight to think, you know what? I like having sex and my pussy feels good, but I should probably have some value added. It's not even an afterthought because they're too busy saying you can't trust men. They've got daddy issues and they might have a great dad, but they have daddy issues because they live in a society, a gynocentric social order that on some level of consciousness teaches them that men are inherently untrustworthy, incompetent, or borderline abusers. And you have to insure yourself against that. You have to go to college so that you don't have to. I've made this case with Aaron Clarey. This is, I think it's out of one of my books. Women hate beta males. They hate incompetence. They hate those guys. They hate men enough, or they don't trust men enough, so much so that they will suffer through 4 to 8 years of college, take out inordinate amounts of money to pay for that college and college loans and grants and everything else, and work in soul destroying jobs so that they can avoid getting pregnant by a guy who's not Chris Hemsworth, who's not, Chris Evans, right? They want to they so don't want to breed with that guy, or they distrust men so much that they will go through that, work 40-hour, 50-hour a week as a HR chick so they can avoid that. That's why Megyn Kelly loses her shit on Matt Walsh when he talks about how women need to adopt a more feminine, more sensitive, more nurturing femininity, a conventional femininity. That it's the anathema. There's your vocabulary word. It's the anathema to how she's lived her life up to this point, because she cannot trust men. And people who read her books, people who follow her, people who think she's the fucking cat's meow, think that she's right, and they follow suit. Same thing with what's her name, Sheryl Sandberg in Lean In 2013. Same shit. You got to get your bag. You got to insure against that happening to you. When what was it? What's her name? God damn it, the name's escaping me right now. Femsapien, when she went on that Twitter, she was talking about how she submits to her husband, and how Allie, when Real Femsapien, Allie went and did that TikTok video. The reason it went viral, because she was on this video and she was there with Pearl, like before Pearl was Pearl. She was on there and she was saying, I submit to my husband, and in all things, I would rather be with him, and I would rather work for him, and I would rather be, his wife and his, the mother of his children, than work a soul destroying 40-hour work week, kind of thing. I rely on him. And when women threw hate at him or at her, it was based on one thing: the fear of him leaving her. The fear, because no man can be trusted. Well, what are you going to do if you have a baby and he leaves you? What are you going to do if he fucks his secretary and he gets a trophy wife and you're left destitute and poor in the dust bowl of Depression era America? What happens to you then? That's the fear. That's the over the top fear. That's, again, remember, women are the vulnerable sex. So that plays very well to a female psyche. So they're looking for that security. That's why Megyn Kelly just loses her shit on Matt Walsh saying, well, women can't have chivalry and they can't have feminism in the same dude or in the same relationship. And so Megyn Kelly goes, I don't think so. I think you can. Here's why. I've done it too. No, the reason she thinks that, because she has insured for herself throughout her career or whatever, ensuring her bag, ensuring the fact that she doesn't have to be dependent on a guy. And that, by the way, is the premise of militant era feminism from the late 60s, the Betty Friedan, the Gloria Steinem era of feminism. In fact, there's an encouragement: become the man you wanted to marry. Because because you can't trust any men, don't trust them. So now you have to build yourself up and cater your life around the fact that you can't trust men, by going to college, getting this job, getting your business together, doing that, and then getting to be 35, 36 years old and go, where's my guy? Remember the religious girl in the beginning of this video, in my intro videos? Well, I'm just waiting for the guy that God wants me to be with. You're going to be waiting a while. You know who else is waiting? Lolo Jones, freezing her eggs at 40 some odd years old and tearfully crying about it on TikTok. Yeah, because she's been waiting it out because she can't trust any. There's no one's forthcoming. God hasn't brought her preordained husband to her doorstep. You could find ways to rationalize that all you'd like to. And in Megyn Kelly's sense, she rationalized it by saying, well, we all ought to be equal. We all ought to be egalitarian. And essentially, a conservative woman like Megyn Kelly, like Lauren Chen, like a lot of other trad femme women, their ideal relationship, their ideal marriage is, first of all, unbiblical, and that's just my opinion on this. But secondly, it's based on egalitarian equalism and essentially Marxism, if you think about it. Because it's, well, and the reason why I say it's loosely based on Marxism is that there's this understanding or this idea that women, like from each's talents or each's strengths to the other's weaknesses or their needs kind of thing, right? So it's like there's this, well, you know, we're all blank slates and some of us have strengths in here and some of us have strengths there. And there's no gender differences. There's no sexual dimorphism. I mean, Megyn Kelly might as well agree that there are 71 different genders. She may as well agree that because that they're all based on the same thing, which is the blank slate. But you can be whatever you want to be. No, there's certain proclivities that conventional masculinity and conventional femininity, and that's where we get with this video, and that's why it rubs these women the wrong way, because Matt Walsh is asking the wrong questions, or the right questions, but they don't have any answers to it. So when I say it's like even conservative women, even Tomi Lahren, even Megyn Kelly, or whatever the fuck her name is, even Lauren Chen, even Lauren Southern, or whatever the next Lauren is, I don't care who the fuck it is. You're part of the sisterhood. I don't care what your ideological political stripe is. If you trust me, you would not be an influencer on Instagram or wherever the fuck you were if you didn't in some way think in terms of egalitarian equalism. You will not be, if you're not submissive now, or if it rubs you the wrong way, you'll never be submissive. You certainly won't be submissive in a traditional marriage. And you certainly won't be submissive even if that guy meets all your criteria. He hits all those check boxes, like in that one video, right? With that guy who's saying, I have to be like the perfect, you know, high value guy. I have to be the best version of myself before you'll consider being the best version of yourself until I put a ring on your finger and I've already committed to you. And I'm hoping and betting that if I put, that's a big fucking bet these days, that you're going to turn into a trad wife as long as I meet all your criteria and I'm marriageable, but you're not necessarily, you'll become marriageable after I put the ring on your finger. Like help me understand this. And they got no answer to that. And Megyn Kelly would have no answer to that either. But that's the Marxist part of it right there. Well, we each have strengths and it doesn't matter who does what. That's Jeremy Boring just saying right there. Okay, well, you know, some of us are, you know, we have talents in something, but maybe we're better at combing our daughter's hair or whatever Jungian psychology that's sort of filtered into their thinking. It's Marxism is what it is. And based on, I'm not saying it's real solid Marxism. I'm just saying it's the Marxist thinking. Well, we're all blank slates. And so therefore my strengths should offset this. And no, there are innate differences in conventional masculinity and conventional femininity. And women will never even consider that because they've been trained to think that men are untrustworthy. So even the most conservative, religious Lila Rose, right? The most conservative religious woman is still going to be hesitant to give up her bag, to be so submissive that she says, you know what, I'm getting married. Brett Cooper, for example. In fact, I think I've got Brett Cooper on here. Oh, we already showed Brett Cooper a minute ago. She was talking about pretty much the same thing. Which one was it? Sorry, I got another one. Not that one. Her, that's Brett. Which one did we put on here? Oh, that's not it. Here we go. No, not that one. Jordan Peterson. Oh, yeah. Or the infidelity one that I threw on there too. Let's see. Perfect. Here we go.
Being a simp is, right? Let me just summarize what it is. It's not about loving and investing in your partner, which is often the case. They seem to think that anybody who loves or...
Did you catch that? Partner. First of all, the word partner. And then second of all, that's the idealized state. Partner. How about fucking?
Invest or wants a long-lasting or who is loyal is a simp. Here's what being a simp is. A woman crosses your boundaries and you still accept, and not only accept, you try and get her back. That's what simping is. Everybody's got different boundaries. But if you've seen a woman cross your boundaries many times, you've seen unacceptable behavior, and instead of them withdrawing your love, you then shower her with more love to get her back. That I can understand is a simp. But somebody who vets a woman correctly and then...
Love that. That's your escape clause. Well, it wouldn't happen if you'd have vetted her correctly. That's to make all this stuff unfalsifiable. Now, she's not wrong, but that's not what simping is. Simping is very simple. Thank you, Tristan Tate, for this. I will give credit where it's due. Simping is an unequal exchange of value. That's what it is. Simple as that. Unequal exchange of value. If all you're doing, and these guys ought to know because they're the ones with the cam girls, right? It's an unequal exchange of value. So when you see simping, you understand what it is. And you know, I get sick of this bullshit all the time too, because I'll have guys to say, like, oh, if you're even talking to that woman, why do you have those girls on Access Vegas? You're simping for them by having them on, by giving them attention, by breathing the same oxygen that they have in the same room. You're simping. Jesus Christ. Like, fucking just settle down. Settle down, Francis. It's not that. It's an unequal exchange of value. Why do I explained this to Zuby one time because Zuby was really questioning why is it that like so many guys are just obsessed with OnlyFans? Why do women make money hand over fist on OnlyFans? They're all simping. Yeah, they are. It's an unequal exchange of value is what it is. But the reason why they're doing it is because they're looking for that human connection, not necessarily jerking off. They can beat off to Pornhub. That's not a problem. They want to believe that somebody on the opposite side of that screen actually gives two shits about them. And they don't, but they're getting the girlfriend experience. I don't say they have to be sexual. They do. But they're paying the service is the fantasy that somebody actually gives a rat's ass about them. And so that's the unequal exchange of value. But notice how psychologist Sadia, whatever her name is, has to couch all of this in relationship speak.
Explains their boundaries. And here's what a boundary is. It's very simple. The moment you feel something is not great, you communicate it. You don't test your partner to see if they break it again. And so you just.
Okay, so she's not even talking about simping here. Now, this kind of like harkens back to my boundaries post or my boundaries. Yeah, I did do. I have a post on boundaries on my Substack, which you should probably go subscribe to right now and read some really good shit. But I talked about boundaries, and this is more of a boundaries thing than simping. Okay, well, you're simping because she goes past your boundaries, and you keep like trying to shower affection and adoration and value on her that doesn't really work. Yeah, in fact, it makes it worse. The thing you do when you are like boundaries are best demonstrated and not explicated. You have to demonstrate the punishment. The stove better be fucking hot when the kid puts his hand on it. Otherwise, doesn't matter. There has to be consequences. The best boundaries are the ones that you do that with your girlfriend or your business associates or whatever it is, whatever your personal boundaries happen to be, are best demonstrated than explicated.
Say, look, I don't like it when you don't call me after a night out. I just want to make sure you got home okay.
That's insecurity. Doing that, because that right there would be possessiveness. If you're having that conversation in the first place, it's over. You're done. How come you didn't call me after you went out with your friends and over, done.
It's I don't like it. I think that outfit's a little bit too revealing on a night out. Can you just be a little bit more mindful?
Imagine trying to explain that to Megyn Kelly.
You say your boundaries. Now, if you don't say your boundaries and you allow a woman to completely disrespect them, even though you're feeling it, you know in your soul she's disrespecting your boundaries, but you're still begging her to be with you and she's doing unacceptable behavior and you're still begging her, then you fall into the category of a simp.
No, you fall into the category of codependency. And as a psychologist, I would expect that's the vernacular you should be using.
But that can happen with women, men, anyone can do that. But strong boundaries.
But who does it happen with the most?
Create good neighbors. The moment we put our boundaries up, people then know how to behave around us and we become simp free. We become.
Okay, good. Boundaries are great. Fact is, that's not boundaries. That's not simping. Simping is an unequal exchange of value and a continued one at that. Boundaries need to have fucking teeth. She crosses a boundary. She wants to go on our girls' night out to fucking Las Vegas. She wants to go have fun with her friends. Say, you know what? I'm totally fine with that. Is that what you want to do? Yes, I do. Okay, good. Have fun. I want you to do what you want to do. I'm 100% behind you. I support you all the way. As soon as she walks out the door, you take all her shit, put it out on the sidewalk, change the locks on the doors, take her shit to her mom's. Don't come here. You crossed the boundary, and now you found out. Fuck around and find out. Well, you didn't tell me. We didn't have this conversation. How come we didn't have this rational heart-to-heart about how you felt? Because the moment I do that, is the moment you lose respect for me and you call me insecure and possessive and everything else, and you tell your bitch girlfriends that you can't go because my man is insecure. It's not about that. It's about the fact that you want to go in the first place. You should know, you should intuit what my boundaries are. And when you don't, and you find out that they have teeth, you will have much more respect for me than if I'm going to go and say, here's an ultimatum. If you don't do this, I don't like it when you don't tell me these things. Let's have open conversation. It means nothing unless she wants to be involved with you. You are a better option for her than going off and doing this other shit. That's what it has to boil down to. And again, we're still throwing this into marriage, long-term relationships. You don't have to worry about this shit if you're spinning plates.
Immune to being a simp. But if you have no boundaries, but you're learning the tricks of how to get women, I pay for a woman here, but you've got no boundaries and she's cheating on you and you're still paying for her, then you're not learning what actually is creating the circumstances for a healthy connection.
I was half expecting you to say, learning to appreciate the trust nest. I thought we were in the trust nest. I thought we could talk about our feelings here. You wanted me to be vulnerable. At least that guy, Chris Williamson, told me that. He said I should be myself. Get the fuck out of here. Chris Williamson. All right, so that's the okay. So why am I throwing that in there? Well, because is that simping if the guy gives that girl his credit card and says, here, order up? Is that leading with his, not his wallet, is that leading with his credit card in this instance? Is he simping or is he controlling the frame? Because she sure as shit thinks he's controlling the frame. Would Sadia approve of that, or would that qualify as simping? Most black pill doomers would say it's simping. He gave her a credit card. Of course it's simping. What are you talking about, Rollo? Yeah, exactly. What do we got here? FYI, Matt Walsh. Did Matt Walsh ever see movie 50 Shades Grey? I don't know. Probably not. Yes, thank you for that, Ned Flanders. It's annoying how tradcons dismiss alpha fuck side as a symptom of damaged women. Yeah. No, it's just a function of evolution, nothing to do with morals. Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for being the voice of reason, looks for danger. Yeah. Once again, hypergamy is not marrying up. It's not just marrying up. Does that have attraction and arousal? Attraction. Oh, it's got to be funny. It's got to provision, protect, provide, parental investment. It's got to like dogs. It's got to like rainbows. It's got to want kids. Got to love his mom. Got to be humorous. Got to go to church with me. Got to have a good job. Other men have to respect him and like him. All this laundry list of all this shit, right? That's attraction. That's the beta buck side. And again, I'm using beta bucks in the abstract. I'm not saying it's bad or it's good. I'm saying this is the provisioning side. This is the long-term security side of women's dual mating strategy. What's the other side, Rollo? It's alpha fucks. It's the hot guy in the foam cannon party on spring break. You were drunk, he was cute, and one thing led to another. It's Chris Evans on The View. It's whatever I do, Chippendales dude on The View or Ellen's show. That's what it is. And women, when they don't need you, when they are independent of you, that's what they go for. They want Jason Momoa. They certainly want Justin Waller. Justin Waller's really, I shouldn't even use him as an example in this case because he is really more of like an example of both. Like he's paid as fuck. Right? He's got a lot of money. He's got his head together. He's got good game. And he's a good looking guy. No homo. He's a good looking guy at 6'3". I think he's way taller than I am. But when women say, I don't need a man, but I want a man, that I don't need a man comes from the distrust of men that Megyn Kelly has just proved to us in spades just a minute ago. That's what Matt Walsh is struggling with. That's what he's frustrated with. He's frustrated with conditional femininity. He doesn't know this because doesn't watch this show and he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. But it's really a condition. It's a function of conditional femininity. I'm not going to be feminine until you prove to me that I can trust you with everything. With all of my money, with all of my sex, with all of my, loyalty and religion, like name the laundry list. I can't trust men. And if one of those bullet point checklists isn't checked, then the deal's off. Or it's getting to that point anyways, because women's entitlement and hubris has gone over the top. So there you have it. All right. Anyways, that is that. And let's get to the last of these here real quick. Some guy. Thank you. It was just some guy. You know what? You're the first one to give me that. There you go. Thanks, just some guy. I love you too. Thank you for your support. Ned appreciates it too. Iron Frame. Chevy Chase in Christmas Vacation is an example of a guy who has, and timely example of a guy who has to be saved from himself. Watched it earlier today with the family. You are correct. Am I the only guy who never really liked Christmas Vacation or vacation movies? I've always thought they were kind of just a little kind of too slapstick. I realize Chevy Chase is actually a pretty funny guy, but yeah. Anyways, okay, so there's that. Now, the last but not least, I have to point this out is the fact that when we talk about chivalry, and I mentioned this earlier today, chivalry is not what you think it is. And if you want to have a better understanding of it, I've got a full chapter on chivalry in my 4th book, which is The Rational Male Religion. And I mentioned in there because it's within the chapter called Crisis Masculinity. And I've talked about chivalry so many times. It's like I'm almost on autopilot when I talk about this. The original chivalric code had nothing to do with women, period. Nothing whatsoever. The chivalric code was to prevent knights or let's say, men who were in the service of moneyed landowners. Maybe that's a better way to put it, because it wasn't just about the Catholic Church or royalty at that time. It was people, it was guys, badasses in armor who could kick ass and had the killer instinct, knights or otherwise, who were essentially wiping each other out. Chivalric code meant you don't hit a guy when he's down. There were certain rules of engagement, more or less, is what the chivalric code was about. Honor, loyalty, trust. Now, later added to that was to defend the weak, defend your country, defend the Catholic Church. That was part of that. It got added to because it was during the Roman Catholic Church in medieval times. And all this stuff, even then, didn't have anything to do with chivalry, did not have anything to do with women. My lady's honor. It wasn't until courtly love was introduced into the courts when, again, a luxury belief, because now you've got these big freeholds. Now you've got like knightly orders. Now you have actual like guys who own their own shit. And now you've got their women who are waiting for their husbands to come back from campaign or for their crusades or wherever the fuck they were. Right. And you've got them sitting at court and they're bored. And so now they start talking about love, and they have troubadours and they have like traveling minstrels and stuff like that. And so courtly love and the romantic ideal, romantic love, really came about during that time. And it was usually noble, bored, aristocratic, noble women who felt that men should be doing more for them. And so what happened is eventually the ideals of courtly love, I'm trying to abbreviate this. There's a lot more to this than just this. The ideals of courtly love and the romantic ideal found its way into chivalry. It found its way into the chivalric code. So it's not about opening doors. It's not about, it's not about like walking on the right side of the sidewalk, which, by the way, I'll tell you, would you like to know that? What the reason is for that? It's not about like cars going by and splashing your girlfriend or some shit like that, or exposing her to danger. You know what it was for? During medieval, early Renaissance era, they didn't have this. They didn't have the sewer system that we have now, right? So they would throw slops out into the street. Well, if you're walking down the causeway there and the lady's on the outside, it's more likely she's going to get shit splashed on her when the slops go out the window. So that's why it was the man's duty to stay on that side of the street and keep the woman on the inside, so it doesn't get on her nice gown or whatever the hell she's wearing at that time. It was men's responsibility to get shit thrown on them, literally in some cases. Slops. Look it up. That's where the origin of men walking on the outside of the sidewalk came from. Your medieval, semi-medieval, early Renaissance European tradition. There's your chivalry for you. Opening doors, like if all anyone can mention, like, and by the way, Brian, if you're watching from whatever podcast, if you ever get into this conversation about chivalry, ask women what they think it is, because it's not what they think it is. Essentially, it's deference to the feminine. That's what it comes down to. You need to respect women. You need to be more chivalrous. Pay for a date. Respect me as a woman. That's chivalry. No, it's not. It has nothing to do with chivalry. I mean, in its classical sense, right? That's why I say chivalry, the way we think of it today, is actually feminism 1.0, because it's putting the female as the primary. Defend the lady's honor, even though she's a troll, right? Or a slovenly troll, even though she's, for the streets, at least the inside of the streets. That's not what chivalry is. What they're talking about is the romantic ideal and romantic love, and that's filtered its way into sort of popular consciousness, courtesy, by the way, of Carl Jung, the post-free love, post-sexual revolution era. We justify everything. If they love each other, who cares, right? The love is the highest order of thinking, right? When we talk about stats and dating and how fucked up things are and how women can't find the right guy, that's the only reason we are focusing on marriage as the litmus test for a relationship or litmus test for the dating market that we have right now, is because it goes back to feminine primacy. So what serves women the best? What serves the nuclear family the best? Well, it's women. It solves women's reproductive problem. That's what it comes down to. Single mothers. Well, you should marry a single mother. You should be the man. You're not the stepdad. You're the man who stepped up. That mentality, that's the romantic ideal. That's what you should. She's the primary. You help her solve her problems. Pay for the date. Be the conventionally conservative guy that she really wants to fuck. And you can still, Matt's going to call it transactional, or she's a gold digger. Or really, essentially what he's saying is she's a gold digger, because she's never going to be the conservative, trad wife. She's never going to convert herself into that. And that he's not mistaken. Where we are in agreement on that, Matt Walsh. That girl is never going to be bacon bread, Laura Ingalls, Little House on the Prairie. She's not, that ain't going to be her. Neither is it going to be Megyn Kelly, even though she's going to try to find some way to square that circle of cognitive dissonance about how she can still be a trad wife and feminine and still be an alpha female. The two do not mix, because one you cannot serve two masters. You will love the one and hate the other. You can be the alpha female, or you can be a trad wife, or you can be, and I hate to even use the word submissive because women lose their shit when you say submissive, deferential to male authority. And that is what it's about. The very fact that Matt would say, well, she'll never be submissive. Don't even use that term submissive anymore. In fact, you want to really have a blunt impact. Use the term deferential to male authority, because that's what you're getting at. And traditional tradcon men will never, I'm saying, you say never say never, I'm saying never address the fact that men don't have authority in marriage today, period. Because you can't alpha the state. I don't care how religious you are, you do not have as much authority, certainly, as your wife. Your wife, it's what Dalrock used to call threat point. So your kids, you want to have kids? Oh, you have more kids. That means you're a real man. Yeah, those kids are not yours. They're hers. And she could make up any narrative she wants to and turn you into the worst motherfucker you possibly imagine at the divorce table. And it's in her attorney's best interest that she does that. Cash and prizes. Those kids are never going to be yours. Was it a modern marriage today is building a house on a land that you will never own. They will never address that. And yes, I'm telling you this as a guy who has a pretty good fucking marriage, but I 100% acknowledge this. I think marriage is the bedrock of Western civilization. I think it is a great. Men and women are better together than we are apart. Men and women are innate, natural, evolved complements to one another. But if we have this, you want to know where the distrust comes from? It's not guys going, oh, never trust a woman. It's been going on for women since really the mid 60s, because we've systematically made men untrustworthy. We've given you those three archetypes: the Homer Simpson, the incompetent, the borderline abuser. So that fear of being left destitute and homeless and everything, all that stuff, but which is kind of ridiculous in the 21st century, considering like the divorce laws and alimony and everything else. Very ridiculous. But it's what women will cater their lives around. You want to know why women are going to be single and childless? By the way, it's Morgan Stanley, Rise of the She Economy. It was a 2018 survey report. Rise of the She Economy, Morgan Stanley. 42% of women projected. 42% of women in 2030 will be single between the ages of 25 and 44. 42%. It didn't say single and childless. I just said they will be single. And that's why companies are planning ahead for this, so that they can sell to that demographic. That's where that comes from. Not 50%, not single and childless. They probably still have kids, because women have an easier time having kids. Like without a man. They don't need no man, but they want a man. Independent. Independent of who? Independent of men. I'm starting to sound like Aaron Clary now. Sorry. So there you have it. Chivalry is not what you think it is. Stop using that fucking term. Start talking about it in terms of like of deference to male authority. I would have so much more respect for Matt Walsh if he would say, like, it'll never occur to him, but a responsibility without authority is slavery. And that's what they will never make that video. They'll never do a 15-minute Daily Wire video on that. That won't happen. Not in my lifetime anyways, because that's what it rolls down to. So anyways, with that said, I hope you guys have a really good Christmas time, and joy to the world. Thank you guys for watching. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for contributing if you did. Also, I will keep you up to date on what's going on with Ned. I actually kind of have to go downstairs because I got to get him fed right now. And I see Sam Botta has finally joined me in my text. Sam, thanks for rejoining us. Everybody else, have a blessed, holiday or whatever you celebrate. Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. They may celebrate Kwanzaa. I'm trying to think. God Yule. There you go. Good Yule. I got to give you a good Nordic Christmas. Go get yourself some Yule goats. Yule goats at Grimfrost. Grimfrost.com. You'll find Yule goats there. Your Festivus for the rest of us. Yes, that's what I'm going to celebrate. Festivus. We have to have that. What was the big poll? We'll now have the airing of the grievances, and then the feats of strength. If you're not having feats of strength on your Christmas, are you really celebrating Christmas? Anyways, thank you guys. I appreciate you. I love you all. Thank you. Have a good Christmas, and go spend time with your family, spend time with your dogs, and peace be with you. My peace on earth, goodwill towards men and women.
Would you do it again? I need to feel you on top of me. Kowalski. It was my first time, but I was just a kid when we met and went to bed. It was my first time. What do you expect from me? I'm breaking up the rules, now in the game. I've got some new tools. Please do the same. Time came by and went over like a matchbox stereo. Time to keep my thoughts down and go. Bound to keep me up all night. But maybe we can fuck again, and maybe things are different. Goddamn, baby, Now we're fucking in the bathroom, tearing up every wall while I got your hair. Why you screaming my name?
That's nasty. It is nasty, right? Isn't it nasty? Ugh.
She was swinging in the bedroom, whole time stopping and stubbing with her hair. Like she's Claudia Kelly.
Well, I'm a whore.
Ride me up and down like a pony. Turning up my song, getting messy. Working up and down on your body. Ride me up and down like a pony. Turning up my song on your body. Maybe we get down to it all night. But maybe we can fuck again. And maybe things be different. Goddamn, baby, one more again. Won't you put it on me one more again? I need to know. And maybe we can fuck again. Then maybe things be different. Goddamn, baby, one more again.
This City Podcast has been a production of The Irrational Male. All rights reserved. Registered trademark 2023. Don't steal my stuff on Christmas.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Emotional damage.
That's nasty. It is nasty, right? Isn't it nasty? Ugh.